Cool. 9 o'clock.
It's not a fucking police interview.
No, I know, but what time did you get here? 4?
No,
5?
5, 5:15.
So, okay, Dan, this time instead of introducing you as Dan Horn, the voting parent, we'll say Dan Nordic Mythology Podcast for and so that I can label it differently on the next one. So it doesn't look like
No, we'll do more than 2.
Yeah,
they can just be.
We'll just call it some other kind of subtopic.
Dan and Lloyd rants.
Yeah, Dan and Lloyd fix the world. There's a lot to talk about, really. I'm just trying to think how to jump right into it, other than just saying, why do you hate the Viking Facebook community so much?
We can start there.
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to go. If this goes as we planned, very loosely planned, then we've got a few topics to cover. They're going to go into very current topics that will probably not. I don't think we'll dance around. We'll
go for
talk
it.
about it openly. But we can start with, I guess, when it comes to the Vikings. So we touched on it last time.
Yeah.
I think just how. The cesspool that is social media, which that is going to then obviously go into.
When you say the cesspool that is social media, you've got your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your YouTubes. From a ranking,
Facebook feels the worst. People have always said YouTube comments are meant to be the worst, but
I think Facebook is more personal, whereas YouTube just feels like a kind of throw the insult out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, thankfully, maybe it's because nobody watches the videos, but the Nordic Mythology Podcast YouTube has never really got much hate. Can't say no hate, but not that I've ever. Oh my god, that's horrible. So I've got nothing to really rank YouTube. Cause I'm not really one that reads YouTube comments either.
No, I don't bother.
But I've heard people say that they're meant to be quite nasty. For me, it's just Facebook stuff I see.
Facebook always, again, seems more like a personal, not that you know every person, but if they're involved in a group that you're in, which it's normally the people in Facebook groups who are horrific.
Yeah.
Which is the way it works, I suppose. You don't get people on my friends list, me nan messaging me saying that I'm a shitty American or anything like that. It's always just in the Facebook community groups that you feel like you should have a good little vibe with, but you never really do. Because like we said last time, everyone wants to know more than the other person. Mm-hmm. And that's whereas YouTube comments is just everyone, just not everyone, obviously, but it just seems to be a group shit on people thing on YouTube. So it's easy to just be like, oh, fuck off. Whereas with Facebook, it's like, this was meant to be the group that I was in, and these people are horrific.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But I think if we just talk about the Viking side of things, that it's such a big category of. Well, it's 300 years of history, but it has such a far reach to people on the far left of politics, to people on the far right of politics, to everybody in the middle, to scholars, to entry people. You have this huge spectrum that when you put them all into one place, and the information on it, the accurate information on it is so little. And I think that's what people don't realise, is that we know so little about the Vikings that over the years it's all kind of been built on other ideas that have then they sound like they're accurate. It sounds like we know a lot, but when you strip it back to the source material, there isn't that much. Then I think it creates this perfect storm for people to argue about, because you have loads of information that's out there that people think is accurate, but really it's based on not very solid ground. So you just get this kind of mix where people are like, well, I've seen this by so and so, it must be accurate. But then you get people who've read a bit further and well, actually it's not. but you can't combat it with, well, it's this. You have to kind of combat it with, I don't know, maybe, or we don't know, it's a possibility. You can't say for definite, but it could be, and I think that's what makes it so difficult to argue back against anyone, because your reply is, it could maybe be that, but probably not. But I can't give you something to say that it's definitely not that. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, it's like, well, that's the thing. What's the source? And it's like,
What was the post? I was about Gleamer.
Oh, Glimmer, yeah.
Yeah. And you said it doesn't exist.
No, Dad just said, well, do you want me to read? Is it called Gleamer?
Yeah.
So somebody posted something that said the Vikings developed a martial art called Gleamer and it's still practiced in the Nordic countries, and Dan just said, no, they didn't.
That's,
And then it kind of spirals from there.
yeah. And then the gentleman was like, yeah, it is. Like, post your sources that it's not. And I was like,
how?
I can't post something for something that doesn't exist.
Something that does not happen.
Yeah, but that's a prime example of it, because you have a martial art that is in like Icelandic culture today is still, or is like a martial art. It's being made into a modern day sport, but there is some source material of wrestling. There's no different to any other wrestling style across Europe or the world when it comes to like folk wrestling. It's all the same techniques. It's not like unique to the Vikings. And these accounts are written down in the 1300s after the Viking Age by people who weren't. I think that's what people don't appreciate as well, is that the Viking Age technically ended in 1066. If it's written down in the 1300s, that's 200 years. That's like us writing about the Victorian era or even just before. It's a big fucking gap. It's a long time to just be like, oh, well, yeah, they wrote about it after, but it's not that. It's a long way. I couldn't tell you what the Victorians did. Things move very fast. It's a big chunk of time. When we're looking back, and you look at it in the grand scheme of time, it doesn't seem that long. But when you really think about, if I had to write about what the Victorian did for sport, it's not. Yeah, there's a long time for things to be lost in translation, or just
That's the thing
not
as
make
well.
it through.
It's like if someone from Scandinavia wrote about the history of British sports, I can't imagine saying, who are you to write about British sports? Because I haven't got a fucking clue about. I'm British, and I don't know about British sports.
Yeah.
So if someone comes to me with like, well, actually, I've spoke to scholars, I may be from Scandinavia, but I've spoke to scholars who know about this. It baffles me because one of the fellas said, "Who are you to be?" What did he say? Is this the
Viking podcaster?
Oh, yeah.
the Viking pod, the English Viking pod? And it's like,
There is
but
that.
you spoke to people who know these things, and it was like we were saying last time, where you said, "I can tell someone," and their first thing would be like, "Never heard of them."
Yeah, I don't profess to be a scholar, but I've just spoken to a lot of, trying to retain a lot of information.
But that's as good as.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Well, it is, because you've spoke to these people who know these things, and it's information firsthand that you've took on. You haven't just been like, oh, I spoke to this guy at the pub who told me this.
Yeah. I feel like I tried to, which was the whole purpose behind the podcast anyway, was to take scholarly information and make it accessible.
Yeah.
Because there is a gap. Even when I speak to scholars, now and I've done it for so long, I'm still a bit like, you've said a lot of words, and I still don't really know what you're saying. And that, not everybody gets that. I'm only really starting to kind of be able to understand what they say sometimes. So trying to, I don't say it's not dumb it down, but it's just to make it a little bit more
like
legible. Yeah. So you get that where people will just. I probably didn't start the conversation the best. Like, no, they didn't. But also, I get quite fed up of just seeing stuff, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna. But you have, so you have like a sport that is around today. It's based on some texts, but it's that of people describing people wrestling and maybe using the word and saying that they have a sport. But there isn't. For me, a martial art would be like a systematic structure where you learn things like jiu-jitsu or karate, where you have steps and you work through it, and it's like that's not what it is. And I think another thing that annoys me with like the Gleamer thing is that you get people who sell like courses
Yeah.
or classes saying that it's a Viking martial art. They'll take your money and they'll say, there are some people out there, they'll be, oh, well, it's been passed down through my family lineage since the Viking Age by oral tradition, like from father to son or whatever. It's like, no, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. You can't prove it has, and I guess I can't, in theory, prove it hasn't, but it's not, has it?
Yeah.
But you're happy to take people's money under the guise of it being a Viking martial art, and that's what frustrates me a little bit. I think
people who open Viking themed gyms should be hung. That's what you said.
No. No, because if you...
I didn't do it for that. I wasn't selling.
No. No, because if you Vikings are cool. Even they have like this whole image, don't they? Like of strength, of power. Like so it's when it's like
It's when you start being like, this is what they did.
Yeah, and I think that's what frustrates me with a lot of things. And as we get into like the further discussions, I probably get myself into hot water sometimes in conversations because I care about like the truth in things, and maybe sometimes too much. That like if any quote ever comes out, or any like somebody says so and so said this, I'm always like, well, what's the context behind it? What's the full quote? What's like that? I want to see like the whole thing before I make a judgment, rather than this little snippet. And sometimes people assume that you're defending things. It's like, well, no, I just want to know the truth, and then I'll make a decision up. But that's sometimes people take that as the wrong thing. That it's like, oh well, it's like, no, I just want to understand this everything.
Conversation with my daughter before about a current event going on, and she was like, "Oh, he was a racist," and I was like, "Well, show me." I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm not saying that he was. I'm just saying, can you show me where you got this from? Because then if you show me that, I'll go, fucking hell, he was.
We might as well talk about it, no? It's like, we spoke before about, obviously the Charlie Kirk assassination, which is horrendous. And I think that most people, when we said we would talk about it, like, don't get cancelled. Which is scary in itself, that you can't just have a discussion over something and sit, like two friends, and just talk it out and say, even if you say something that's not accurate, you're just kind of running with it in the moment.
Yeah, just trying to break it down yourself and be like, let me try and understand what's going on here by voicing the first thing that comes to my head, which isn't always right, and takes a conversation for you to be like, well, actually this happened, and I'm like, I didn't mean it like that, maybe I meant it like this. And
I think that's a prime example of, I don't know if you saw the Stephen King tweet about the Charlie Kirk thing. He tweeted that I don't know the exact quote, he said that he supported stoning gays or something, and then everyone basically corrected him, was like, no, he was using, basically saying how people could misquote the Bible, and he was using like that as an example of how people, so he wasn't supporting it, he was just saying that is an example of people misquoting the Bible. And Stephen King, to his credit, said, I got it wrong, sorry, deleted it, said my bad. And then now everyone's like smashing into Stephen King, saying, oh, you're an asshole,
sticking to his gun.
It's like, no, that's what you're meant to do. If you say something and then you're corrected, you're meant to say, my bad, I didn't mean it, I was wrong, I'll publicly say I'm wrong. That's what growing as a human is. Not then everyone just dogpile on and be like, you should have known better. It's like, maybe you should have known better, but he didn't, we're all human. So what? Like,
I've said
that growth is...
I've said loads of things where someone's like, that's not like that, and I was like, isn't it? And then I look over like, ooh, sorry.
It's almost a bad thing to
learn.
Learn. It's like, if you don't get it right the first time, you're done. And I thought, but we're humans. Like, we're all meant to learn and kind of grow. And
do you feel like there's maybe a bit of a lack of critical thinking in society these days, as in we're in a bit of a soundbite society, and everything's packaged in a meme, and you see, so everyone's trying to relate to something, so we kind of get this easily packaged information that's like literally a meme on somebody's story or something, and that's my opinion now, and actually people that have critical thinking skills when they're challenged will be like, okay, you're right, I'll go and have a little bit of a dig into this, they'll do some research, they'll listen to other people's views, but everything is so like polarised now, isn't it? It's like everyone's obsessed with there being a right and a wrong, and you can't accept that there's differences in
There's a
opinions.
massive grey area.
The thing that worries me is the fact that everything is now tied up in like morality, and I think, as we were sort of saying before, Christianity is a massive part of the narrative, but to the point where politics is now being kind of just packaged into this kind of good versus evil, and that's it's nothing new, but it's something that's had a massive resurgence, and that's the thing that scares me a bit.
I didn't even think, to be honest, when we were talking about the whole Christianity's resurgence in politics. Do you remember the interview between his name's gone out my head now, Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz?
Okay.
Did you see that?
No.
Was it Ted Cruz? Name's gone out my head, and he said that the reason they need to stick up for Israel is because in the Bible it says that Israel is the Holy Land, and we need to do that because the Bible's told us, so that's why we're sticking up for Israel. And it's such a bizarre part of the interview where you're like, what?
I think that's how you make these decisions.
What?
Yeah. I think us as Brits probably don't, because I think Britain's been very detached. Like, Christianity and politics have been detached for a long time. And I couldn't tell you the religious beliefs of Keir Starmer. It's not forefront. I couldn't tell you if he was Christian or not, but I don't think you couldn't have a president of America that wasn't Christian.
No.
And openly Christian. And I think that we, over here, things are separate. It's so strange to look at somewhere that is still very Christian. I probably don't realise how Christian America still is. And I think that's something we maybe forget when looking at it, that it does form people's views, and it's hard just because we don't necessarily agree with it. Well, it is part of their.
But it's such a strong influence,
the belief, yeah,
isn't it? Whereas, like we were talking before, you were saying about sources of evidence and things like that. There's this burden of proof, and like our politics has, I think, always been more evidence based without the religion being brought into it. But obviously, it seems like in the US, like there's usually a Bible quote that's used as not the sole basis for something, but that's associated with some kind of decision. Or, and we just don't have that, do we?
I don't think you get that separation of like church and state.
No.
Yeah.
There as we do, whereas and so when we look over, I think it's a little bit like, oh, this is all a bit a bit foreign, because it's not kind of how it's not as ingrained. I'm sure it is in there. It is kind of.
Have you ever read the Bible? No.
But I would never.
I'd never like. It's one of them that like we spoke about it. Like I'd love to. I'd love to like have told people like, yeah, I've read the Bible. I know what's in it. But it's just like, ugh.
I've tried a few
I've tried, and I'm just like, I can't do this.
But it's also an old text.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be the easiest to read. I mean, I'm sure there's modern translations that kind of put it into modern language, make it a little bit easier. But
I did used to enjoy listening to a good sermon when I went to church with school. I thought they were like really interesting stories.
Yeah, it's good stories. And then I walked out and I was like, yeah, it was good.
A good minister that tells it well.
yeah, I think it's like I got into history because I had a good history teacher. It's how stories were. And
But the whole, I don't know. It was. I think it's like I said about how Abby was saying he's a racist, and I was like, well, tell me the source. Tell me. I didn't say that to Abby because she's fucking 12 years old. Give me the fucking source, girl. I was just like, what did he say?
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know.
So that's and I think that's.
But again, it's like I don't know that much about him. I've seen the odd YouTube thing where he's debating people, and like anyone, I love watching them debates because I like to see people get made fools of. They never show the one. I don't even know if there are any ones where the person who's debating wins. I don't know.
I've seen him. So I used to, as a guilty pleasure, watch some, and just look for the ones where like he'd lose. Because I'm like, this is fun. You've got this guy who's like debate me, and it's like if they lose,
Someone's had him off.
you had a few in.
It's like when someone has off Jordan Peterson, you're like,
Yeah, I think it was in Cambridge or Oxford. Yeah, he did some where I think, but again, debates are subjective. Depends on what side you're on as to who you think wins as well. But he had something that I think he probably lost. I think it was Cambridge.
was this the other day?
I think it was.
Not the other day. The most recent one he's done, I think, wasn't it?
No, I think it was a
Before.
while ago. It's from like Cambridge University. So he's come over here to debate. And
But this was like during Israel-Palestine kind of thing.
I think it was
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was involved. Yeah, 'cause I think they touched on some of that. And I think whether you like him or don't, I feel like there has to be some respect for at least. And yes, he's making money for it, so you can kind of. I'm sure people would throw that in. I don't know many other people who just are willing to go and just debate people. A lot of people have opinions, and a lot of people will put opinions online. Even when it comes down to the higher ups in the political system that are running for prime minister or president, sometimes they say, "I don't want to do a live debate, a TV debate," because it's a scary thing. You can be made a fool of. But you have somebody who has he's made a career around it, but at least he goes to the college campuses and he goes to he obviously came over to Cambridge and stands there and says, "These are my opinions. Whether I agree with them or you agree with them or Beth, it doesn't really matter." He says, "These are my opinions. I'm going to stand by them, and I'm going to debate you." And you can say, and it is at least there's no violence. It's a conversation back and forth. They might get heated, agree with each other, but it's just a dialogue. And I think you have to kind of have some respect for that, because it takes a lot. I think it does to do that, and just to kind of, even if, let's say he's filming it and that footage, he loses and they decide not to put that out there because they don't want to see him losing. There's people in the audience who are all filming it. It will get out. There's a live audience there. They've all got the phones out. They're all recording it. So I think you have to have a level, I think, of respect for somebody who's willing to at least back their opinions, especially the ones that are considered to be more controversial. I have much more respect for somebody who has controversial thoughts and then stands there and says, "These are my beliefs, even if you're all going to hate me, and I'm going to say it and I'm going to defend it, and this is who I am," versus I think there are a lot of people online that, when obviously he was shot, then kind of posted a quote of something he said, but then they wouldn't. It's like, I'm going to celebrate it, but not really celebrate it.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to have a dig, but I'm not really going to have a dig, because they don't want to out and out say they're glad, but they don't want to not say anything and not dog whistle to their group and be like, yeah, I'm one of you. I'm gonna quote this thing and say something, but I'm not gonna stand by my views and
like
say
a kind of smug way of mourning.
Yeah, I think just.
I know what you mean.
I respect it, even if it was something that I completely don't agree with. Even somebody, if they had the most abhorrent, far right Nazi opinions, I would respect him more if they at least sat there and said, "This is what I think," rather than hiding behind little bits and pieces here and there, and not if you sit there and say it, at least I can say, "Well, this is why I think you're wrong," and you can have a discourse and you can talk. But when it's all kind of underneath the surface, you can never really know where anybody stands. So I think there's a little bit of fair play. He stood there and took whatever came to him, and unfortunately,
came to him. Yeah. But it was the main thing that kind of brought to light in my eyes, again, this horrible thing, but still, when you get sent a video that, you're like, because that's just the world we live in now, where you can't see nipples on Instagram, but you can watch someone getting shot in the neck.
Yeah.
And it got sent. I can't remember if it was you or Tom who sent it. And it was like, fucking hell. And I watched it and I was like, fucking hell. And then Beth came home and I was just like, fuck this. Showed her.
I deliberately don't watch those things.
Yeah, I don't.
Because I am not desensitised to violence and I have no idea.
I'm not
what it is.
desensitised to violence. I know, like, it's
I found
horrible.
it genuinely distressing, and then he proceeded to have a cob on with me because apparently I changed the vibe of the evening.
I was in a good mood. It got not because of that. But I was having a good day.
Hey, stand by it. That's what it was.
I couldn't have been happy. I was in a good mood. I seen it. I was like, fucking hell. And I was having a back and forth about things. And then, like, when you've got a conversation going and you're kind of at a bit of a heightened state of like, fucking hell, this has happened, talking about it backwards and forwards. And then
So
Beth
it's
walked
exciting.
in. Yeah.
And as sad as it is,
It's a horrible way to phrase it.
if you're being
but
honest about it, yeah, you kind of go, but, and then you want to learn more and talk about, like I say, talk about it, and it's the thing that's
And
everywhere.
then Beth came over and I was like, look, because I brought her in to the middle of the vibe conversation that I was
I
having.
sometimes forget I'm not.
Yeah.
one of
And I
the
was like, look at
last
this.
group.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, obviously the video was like 5 seconds long with it just going into it like that.
But it was incredibly graphic.
It was horrible. I'm not debating that. It was horrible. But in my head, I was still in this vibe zone. I keep saying the word vibe. And I was showing Beth, and Beth was like, fucking hell, what are you? She'd just come in from her day. Like, hold on, look at
A
this.
nice wholesome trip across town.
Yeah.
Drop it.
And
Play
then-
after my son.
We had this thing where she was like, I can't believe you'd show me that. You know, I don't like seeing things. And I know she doesn't like seeing. I know you don't like seeing things like that. But again,
I think you were just a bit angry with yourself.
I was, and then like.
But I didn't want to add that.
But the thing was, because I was in that good a mood and that good a kind of, not good a mood again, but like in a kind of a energy kind of thing. So then with Beth being annoyed at me for what I'd done, I was just like, you just ruined the whole, come on, we're having let's just try and then I was, kind of then took me a while to realise that I was the knobhead, and I have been extremely desensitised to, I can watch things and be like, that's horrible, that, look at that, as opposed to be affected by it and just scroll on. And I always put it down to, like, have you ever seen that episode of South Park where Cartman blows his funny fuse?
I will have done, but I can't.
He sees these people with bums for faces,
Yeah.
and he can't laugh at anything anymore because he's seen something that funny that it's funny. And that's kind of what I put it down to. That like from an early age of like being in high school, and then do you ever have access to like the Gore Gallery?
I never saw it out.
Neither did I, and my point is,
I never sought it out.
Not everybody was into the same things. Like it.
I wasn't
depends on-
into it. It wasn't my kink.
Yeah, but like you said that.
like feet tickling.
It's fucking. Here I am.
Feet tickling is the gateway into it.
We are learning so much about you through these podcasts. But you said that
Slippery slope.
at your school that everybody would try and log on and have a look at the
There was Gore Gallery. There was, I think it was
It was
Rotten.com.
rotten.com, yeah. The most I ever got was to like the main page. But I was raised by like my mum and my sister, so I think I have like probably more feminine influences from like a young age, and I just had this real strong. I don't say like young boys, not like people raised by men don't have moral compass, but I feel like it was a bit more.
Yeah.
You have respect for human life.
Yeah, and I think just like
I have respect for you.
I could get to the like, but even with me, like I had that curiosity. I remember like being sat on the old computer, the old proper computers with like the one of the
486
on, and and I remember like sitting on that and like going on rotten.com, like almost like closing the blinds and like shutting the door and
tissues
turn,
It's just me, yeah.
turning the light off though, and just being like, oh, this is really like naughty, like going on and like going on the main page, and even that's like little images, and I was like, nope. So no, can't go any further. That's just how I am. Like I've just never.
I distinctly remember looking at pictures of JFK dead, Marilyn Monroe dead. These are things that like I can't remember every dead person I've ever seen now on the internet because there's that many of them. But I remember seeing fucking John F. Kennedy. I remember seeing Marilyn Monroe, and then I remember just seeing countless people who've blown their heads off with shotguns. I know it must have been about 13, 14. I think I can't tell you, and I just remember.
Very specific number.
Well, I must have been. I'm just trying to gauge when I was in high school and
No,
in the IT.
I don't think you
block.
read the internet when you were 13.
The internet? I think they had it.
No.
They must
Not
have.
when you were 13.
Yeah, I reckon.
Do you think?
Just like proper dial-up.
Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't called dial-up. It was called. I think it was called T1 line or something like that.
I feel like I remember like the plug-in modems, and getting one of those in my house when I was like 13.
Yeah, but I'm not much older than you.
No, I know, but in the space of like
I'm not fucking Stone Age.
no, but I mean the speed in which they.
Like that with a rock on my head, trying to speak to someone.
I mean, as in the speed of which the internet is like.
Yeah.
It's been really fast.
Okay, let's see.
But it might not. Maybe
I don't. I honestly don't know that.
I might not have got it when it first. We weren't a well-off family, so maybe I got it late.
I honestly can't remember the time frame. I just remember being in high school and being in the IT block, and a few of us on different computers. Like, look at this.
On the school
computers.
Wow.
And then they released the blockers.
Like the blockers, yeah.
But it was too late by then. I'd seen it all. I'd seen a fella sitting on a jar. Have you seen that video?
See, again, I've heard of it. I've seen. I remember like trying to watch it. Got 2 seconds in, like the build up, knowing what happens. I'm like, nope.
Well, I didn't. I didn't have
yeah.
that.
I can't
just
do
remember
it.
sitting there watching this guy sit on a jar. The jar implode inside them, and then just blood. And then this guy frantically trying to get shards of glass out of
We're
his.
going to have to put a trigger warning on this
Maybe.
podcast.
No, because I'm not saying anything rude. I've left out the words. Have I? I can't remember. I
I
got carried
think
away.
it's there.
It's there, but still,
It's all right.
I remember seeing that. Is what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is, all this stuff is that I've seen when I was young has kind of blown my fuse of. blown my fuse of other stuff that I see now, where it's like it's not as bad as what I seen when I was then.
Yeah.
Like I said, Instagram has that many. Hey, tell you what, let's show you another Indian guy getting sucked into a lathe at a workshop, and they are like, ugh, next thing.
Yeah, I never looked for it, so I actively shied away from all that stuff because it just never interested me. I have like no, still today, I have no interest in seeing people get
I don't like seeing it.
hurt. I'm too kind of empathetic to like human life. I just
Things stay with me.
yeah, I just think. But I remember I have a friend who's like into it, not like sexually,
Yeah.
but like he likes to go out of his not. I don't say likes to go out of his way, but like certainly the curiosity is strong. And I remember I was at his and he pulled up. Do you remember they did like 3 guys, 1 screwdriver or something? Where they
Never seen
there's
it.
like I think they're like Eastern European and they kill a homeless guy. And he like pull that up and like poke him with a screwdriver. It's fucking awful. And that just even that brief one-time experience was enough for me to just be like, I don't need to see
How long ago was that?
this. What are you gonna find after this?
No, that sounds horrific.
I was like 18. So what's that? 18 years ago? Yeah. 18 years ago.
I've never seen that one.
It's not that like.
I'm not like it's on my list of like I've never seen that one. See that thunder then?
No, is that what it was?
I think so.
Some lightning. Yeah, thunder.
Wait, but
It's because we're talking about this.
yeah, let's cut that conversation. I was saying, yeah, I never sought them out. It wasn't like, I've got to look at this. It was always just like someone saying, look at this, or Instagram saying, look at this.
Yeah, but now you feel like, well, when you're younger, it's like, I don't want to miss out. I need to look at it because everyone else. Thankfully, I think all my friends, apart from the one I just mentioned, they're not really into that. We're all quite wholesome to a degree. Like, none of them are into, like, so we don't really send that into group chats. Sometimes you have, like, I've been in group chats before, especially like rugby ones, where you get like those people who they just want to send in the most horrific stuff possible, and it's just like, no, stop that. I don't want to see it. But I think when we were kids, you had to seek it out. Now, which I think is the point of this whole lead up, is that you don't have to, because again with like the Charlie Kirk, I I remember seeing a notification come from my phone, like like the little spam ones that you get saying a headline saying that Charlie Kirk had been shot. I was like, oh fucking hell, like I wonder what that is. Went on Facebook, typed his name in, thinking I'm just going to read about whatever's happened. And the first video was like him just sat there, close up. I think the worst one there was like just close
the like
up.
5 second one. It was like
it was like close up shot, and I was just like, well, I didn't even have a choice in not seeing that. There wasn't a censor over it. Because sometimes you get, I don't know who decides, sometimes you get the posts where it has like the
blur.
But then you get one equally as horrific that doesn't have the blur. So there's something amiss with the censoring. But yeah, it just kind of is there. Mm-hmm. And if it's there for me, I'm sure it's there for kids and for the vulnerable.
There was no take a picture of your face or age verification to see this video.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I said in our group was like, I can't look at porn between like two consenting adults who are getting paid for it and screened for any kind of number of health risks, and it's consensual, but then I can be forced to watch someone getting executed. And I think it doesn't seem quite. And also, don't show me your nipples if you're a lady. Can't see them either.
You can see nipples if you pretend that you're breastfeeding.
Oh yeah, that was a whole creepy.
Which is another.
I haven't seen those for a while, but that was like a creepy. That was like a creepy loophole for.
I was like, I don't like this.
But if you are actually breastfeeding, nobody wants to see that.
No, I had
Don't get me started on that.
Well, that was the one really wound me up. We're really fucking shifting on categories here.
Baby.
It was like I'm all for. Oh, it sounds weird. I'm all for breastfeeding in public.
The freedom to breastfeed.
So, yeah, because I'm all for that. And then you've got women campaigning for it. But then you've also got women, because it's not a sexual thing. You're feeding your child. There's no sexual nothing in it. It's just you literally just feeding your kid. And then you got another group of women who are like, actually, no, we can make something sexual out of this because I can show me nipples on Instagram if I've got a fake baby. And that was what really wound me up about it. I was like, pick a lane, but not pick a lane. It's obviously not the whole female race, but it's just like. You're just setting a bad precedent here by.
Oh yeah. No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
I think those. I think those. Yeah.
Women.
I mean, the ones who used it for advantage were just trying to get around the Instagram.
Yeah. But it was just like the most creepy way of doing it, where you're like, you must realise that this is weird.
But the odd thing is that when you said that breastfeeding isn't sexual, which it's not inherently, but you guarantee there will be men that walk past and have a little look, and then make it sexual in their mind.
The will, and again, it's not like if someone's breastfeeding, like there's always like this kind of, if you look and then you clock on that a woman's breastfeeding, from a man's point of view, there's always that awkward thing of like, oh, we just looked. Mm-hmm. And again, it's never like a sexual thing. It's just like I realised.
I think that's us. I think there probably will be some men who are just like,
yeah. Maybe,
but
not definitely.
But there isn't. I think there's nuance to everything, isn't there? And I think that's something that everyone needs to remember in like a whole broader spectrum of like life. That no matter if we all argue online, there isn't a one size fit all answer. If you've got 9 billion people, I think that's what it's roughly at now. Is it on the planet somewhere around that? I
just think that like as a group, like you'd think that like women as a whole would be like, tell you what. Let's not sexualize this because we want to do it. Does that make sense with a female in the room?
I have loads to say about this because I used to be a breastfeeding support worker, so I worked on the hospital wards. I worked with mums when they'd gone home to try and feed, and I've heard every single reason for and against why people choose to breastfeed, not to breastfeed, and it used to shock me because sometimes women would say like, ew, like. That's not what my boobs are for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My boobs are for my fella. And I don't know, it made me sad. But everyone's got their own. Or women would say, well, this is my body, and I want to keep my body, not, my baby hanging off it all the time. And it's, again, everyone feels differently. Everyone's got their own opinions, but.
There's feeling differently and having your own opinions, and then you're just whacking your tits on Instagram with a fake baby so you can get likes.
For women to be able to choose to breastfeed and feel confident with that decision. There's so many reasons that women don't do it, so why are we just giving them another? Why are we reinforcing like
Yeah.
a view that actually could be changed for the better of the baby. I don't know. But yeah, it's just exploiting something, isn't it? But that's just social media all over.
But like Dan said, you don't see that. I haven't seen one of the videos. They might have got around that. And,
No, I feel like it was like a short.
yeah.
It's all Down syndrome filters now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've not
You
seen
were
it.
having a go at me and Dan saying, "Don't say this, don't say that," and then you're in the background like, "Hey."
We're talking about exploitative ways of
It
using
is,
social
yeah.
It
media
is.
for your own gain, and that's another
Yeah,
way
it
to
is.
be underhanded.
It is.
Yeah, no, it's true. But back to like the desensitizing.
Yeah, let's get rid of that bit. Love.
No, it's true though. Like it is, and it'll probably come back to it, which is kind of I was trying to keep it like a linear
No, what you mean.
thing.
I went off on my breastfeeding tangent there. Sorry.
You got it in.
No one
It's- even in me who's tried to avoid it, I'm completely feel desensitized to it, and it's tough, isn't it? Because obviously, public executions have been a thing for probably for the most of human history, and there's you've watched violence, people have seen violence. It's a thing that's around, and then I guess there's probably a short period where we didn't see as much violence, so we kind of got desensitized to it. So maybe again, I guess I'm trying to think. I'm working things out in my own head as I'm talking, because now I think deeply about it. And again, it's the fun thing about doing podcasts and doing
Is you got to
not
word
podcasts.
it right.
Well, no, it's not just like working things out. Because how often do you sit and just talk?
Yeah.
For the most people, anybody like who watches this, think about the last time you sat face to face with someone and just spoke.
Unscripted.
Yeah, just
Just
spoke, had a conversation. So especially when you talk about like quite complex topics, you just kind of start, and I'll trail off and I'll start thinking in my own head of like, oh yeah, because
processing as you go.
yeah, because like violence has been a thing in all of human history, from to hunters on animals to fighting for the land, and then I guess there's a period where it got more peaceful and we didn't need it, especially like. And after like the Victorian era, where you don't have wet markets in the street, you don't see the death of the animal. There's like a good 100 years where people are kind of not having to see death. I guess you have the world wars, but you're not seeing the first hand, except maybe the effects when people come back. But you're not seeing violence up close and then we're kind of open back up to it.
Yeah, where
again.
everyone's got a phone.
It seems like now we're opening it back up to.
Well, I'm always surprised by, I can't even remember off the top of my head, but like the last date of a public hanging, or last date of a hanging in the
Wasn't
UK.
that, what was it, the 60s?
Like 60s
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that? On pay point, and it's just like, maybe not that long.
That's just some
ago, is
people's.
it?
That's not far off Lloyd's lifetime.
Twinkle in your mum's eye.
See what you're getting.
Hey, but it's not. But it is in some people's lifetimes. They're still alive. They will, and it's things are. I don't know. It's quite.
I don't know. It's an inevitable thing, and also I think we're at a point now where there's no fixing it. It's like this is just what you're going to see now. Everyone's got these phones. Everyone's doing first-hand journalism. And it's a good thing, don't be wrong, because like when you see people videoing what's going on in wars across the world, and you're like, fucking
Yeah,
hell.
you need it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of flip side to it, isn't it? Is that as much as I don't want to see Charlie Kirk assassinated, I think it needs to be filmed, or it's like a good thing that it's filmed for. Like I don't say like educational, but to like so people understand what's happened. You can have like the facts. You can see things. You can use it to
It's not a
find the killer.
completely biased news report.
And
this is someone there living there, just like this is what's going on.
Yeah, like I say, war journalists is so incredibly important to know the facts, because governments lie.
Yeah.
They'll say things have happened that haven't happened, and whoever wins gets to write the story effectively. So, having people who are brave enough to go and film is important. I just don't really want to see it. Maybe that's quite, again, like on the fly, maybe we all have like a responsibility to see it. So we're not blinded to the world and to the atrocities that happened, because it's easy to, I think, like, it's quite hypocritical to maybe be like, I don't want to see people that get hurt. I guess like actions, you have to see them out, but like things like Charlie Kirk, that is a very like impactful thing, whether you agree with whatever his politics or not. It's had a huge effect on, like, certainly American politics. It's like a much spoke about thing that maybe we have a responsibility to look at it in the same way that I think if you eat meat, you should be willing to see an animal killed.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to eat it, and you should at least understand that it comes from an animal, and there's that. There, you know, it is alive. It's not just this nice little bit of meat in a packet that you pick up off the shelf. There is that journey, and it is a living thing that is killed, and we get to enjoy it, and there is something beautiful in that. So maybe we should see, like, that violence. Maybe there is a responsibility to then appreciate, maybe it makes you appreciate life more, seeing how easy it can be, like, snatched away.
It depends on your own personal life experience as well, doesn't it? You know, some people have experienced first-hand trauma from a really young age, or have seen horrific things, they've experienced them in their own lives.
Yeah, they don't.
And that's not necessarily, you know, a trauma button that you want to push again by seeing something online.
Absolutely.
You know? So there's so many different factors.
But again, I think that's it. There isn't a shoe that fits everything, and it's even just throw all the way back to the beginning of like the Viking Age, where you try and people try and fit everything into these neat little boxes to say, okay, we know this, let's put it here, and we know, and like, well, actually no, it doesn't fit in a box, and it's like everyone wants to put men into one box or women into one box, or people who vote, you know, a certain party into one box, or people have an opinion on abortion into one box, or all these like topics. People just put them into a box and go, that defines you. And it's like, well, people are so complex, and there's so many different people and different opinions and different, like, a life experience. We don't fit into these boxes. So to kind of just say, have these battlegrounds over like a simple topic, even if it's something relatable to over here, like Brexit, to have like a battleground over this one aspect, and then just to split everyone, to fall out, and like literally lose family members over like a single thing, when humans are just so complex that you can't do it. You can't just have like little kind of
us versus them pockets everywhere.
Kind of, you can't put all men into this, because all men aren't the same.
Not all men.
But not all women. But like, even just on like just on that breast the breastfeeding, you have like women who want to breastfeed, women who don't want to breastfeed, probably women who can't breastfeed, but there'll be probably women who can't breastfeed who would be upset by seeing ladies in public breastfeeding. Their opinion matters, but do you stop all women breastfeeding in public because you may upset some people? It's like this. Everything is this such a grey complex of things. I think that's why you get so many people arguing. But it feels like the issue is that we're becoming less tolerant to other people's opinions, rather than 20 years ago, where it's like, oh yeah, Lloyd doesn't agree with me on this one subject, so we're still friends. We're still gonna. But it's just become so defining. Everybody's like be all and end all of everything that it's just honed in, and everyone should become intolerant to like other people.
Is it like the whole abortion thing as well? Like, that's a whole other thing. I know we're going to all these women's kind of, we're two men talking about women's bodies here, but like that's another thing where it's like you're either for or you're against. You're either pro-life or you're pro-choice, and it's like that was a big thing in his death. That was the one thing that everyone always brings out, that he was a Christian who was against abortion. But again, it's like it was his opinion.
Well, that's it, and that's what I think I find frustrating, is that if he's a Christian and he believes that, then he's entitled to that. I don't agree with it. I have very different opinions on abortion, but that doesn't mean that we can't all have a conversation about it and just talk. And you know, he has umpteen debates on abortion, which hopefully some people have watched and learned from, and they'll have changed their minds. I think that's how so many people learn and challenge their opinions, is just having debates. That's sometimes why I get into like debates online, I guess, and quite enjoy it, because I'm never going to get upset by someone's opinion, but maybe they'll tell me something that I don't know, and I quite like that.
I like that.
And I go, I might not admit it in the moment, but after I might be like, you know what, actually, it made me think about this. And I think that's important to have like different opinions talking about things, rather than your isolated little group who's going, yeah, everyone agrees with me, we're right. And it's like, no, you're just...
You do get into your own little echo chamber.
Yeah, and everyone around you agrees with it. And it's like, just because you don't... Like with his abortion opinions, they're not mine.
No.
I don't agree with it. But his are based on his religion. And if that's what he believes, doesn't invalidate it. It's no less important than my opinion. We're both entitled to our opinions, and that's why we have these systems that we've built of like culture, I guess, in society, where we all have our opinions formed on things, and then we're all allowed to vote, and on the masses, that's what works. And sometimes it's not what you want.
Yeah. Sometimes
the thing you want isn't what happens, and it's shit. But that's kind of what we've agreed as society, and you have to kind of accept it.
I like Bill Burr's stance on abortion more than anything. I don't know if you've heard that. Where it's like, everyone's kind of saying that like, it's your body, it's murder kind of thing. But like Bill Burr's whole thing was like, I agree that you should do what you want with your body, but also just admit that you're killing a baby. So it's just like that grey area of like the two things can be true, and it's fine.
Well, that's it. More than one thing.
It's a hard thing to. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's fine. It's like you're ending a potential life, but it's your birthday. Your body.
You have to. Yeah, I think.
It also depends what you kind of classify as a life at what point.
Well, that's again, and that's the thing.
Sentient being, you know, it's...
That's the thing that'll never be resolved. That's the fuel that just keeps that argument burning. So if you just say, I don't know, maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
Science has done a fairly good job, but a lot of people just don't like science, and it doesn't.
Well, what's science's opinion on it?
Do you want me to Google it?
No, I'm not saying that in an argument.
There's a lot out there about, you know, consciousness and kind of what is the essence that makes something human? When does that come into play? The fact that when babies are born, they shouldn't really be born because they're not anywhere near as developed as other mammals' babies are when they're born. There's so much out there.
That's what I mean. So it's just like, if you just admit the two things.
Cells at 6 weeks, is that a baby? But then to someone who's desperately trying hard to have a baby and can't, of course it is. It's a potential life.
But that again, even
it's just such an emotional.
There's so much fuel that'll just keep that fire burning until you just say, what's the right answer?
That's it, and that's again just to go back to the topic of everyone's so complex that some people it's on conception, some people it's not until birth. Other people, it's like that whole array. You'll have people, if you took pictures every day, and like I'm sure across that whole spectrum, you would have people be like, now, okay, now I think it is.
It's the size of this. It's the size of a seed. It's the size of a fucking.
And then it's also the circumstances that come about. Did they come about through just someone's neglect? Is it like the 10th time they've done it and they're just neglectful and they're just like, fuck it, this is kind of just what I do? Or is it through rape or something? Even, there's a whole spectrum of everything. So again, I don't think there's a single...
There isn't. And
answer, but
an abortion, yes or no?
Yeah, but everyone wants that answer. It's like, do you agree with like this topic? Yes or no? And it's like, but what are the circumstances? And that again comes down to looking at what me saying I always want to like try to find the truth and look at the quotes and give me the context, because that means so much. Where people have lost that need and want to find the context out. They just go, yes or no, do you believe in abortion? Like,
and back to the beginning, that's what leads us to watching these debates all the time, and like, I want to see this because I've got like I'm not. Couldn't care less, but it's like, it's your body, do what you want. But still, I get Instagram pushing that many abortion arguments on me, And I'm like, I'm not planning on having a baby or not having a baby.
Or
This
abortion.
this isn't in my sphere of fucking problems in life. Yeah, Instagram's like, yeah, but you like watching people argue about it.
But we do, and that's the thing as well, that we do.
I do. I love watching it.
Yeah.
And like every time, it's this one guy with a placard, and then people arguing with him. And his one thing is like, yes, but you should carry the baby. You should carry the baby. And people are saying multiple things until they get angry and start screaming, and it's like that guy's won. And I don't want that guy to win because I don't agree with him. But I'm like, can someone just say, just do what you want to do?
But I think that again, that's
the Christianity thing again. It's like kicks back up.
That's the issue.
The two things.
I think that's the issue again with like social media, that it's made, you have to make something controversial for it to be popular. And like obviously Charlie Kirk, obviously that's the current topic, is that he understood that. He grew, like, again, I honestly probably have no real feelings about Charlie Kirk as a human. Like, I don't know really enough about it. I don't. Like, does it affect me personally in my life? Not really. Like,
he's got a wife and kids, and that's very sad. But still,
it's really sad. But to try and find the thing he said, like, this is a guy who at 18 created obviously his company and gave a voice to a certain group of Americans who didn't feel like they had a political voice. Because for the longest time, I think a lot has been kind of like the left leaning. We went through like a very kind of liberal era, which I think we're probably coming out of the other side of. Now it's maybe not as it's kind of the pendulum swinging back the other way a little bit. So you had like a decade where people who were from conservative families, younger people, didn't feel like they had a spokesperson or a platform or could even voice their opinion because they were called racist or because that's the other thing. People are so fast to be like, you're fascist, you're Nazi. It's like, it's just these trigger words that people throw out because they know it stops an argument. And what pisses me off about that is they devalues the actual Nazis and the actual fascists, because it's just like, you're a fascist. And they know that it just stops the discussion right there. So you have like a group of people, even like when us talking about this, they were like, well, what if we say something wrong and we get cancelled? Like, it is a fear that like you have like a whole group of people that have probably grown up in like conservative Christian households. They feel like they don't have a voice because they're worried to say what they actually feel. Then you have this guy who comes out and says, well, I'm going to say all these things that you probably want to say or feel or have been taught from a young age, and give them like somebody to follow. And he kind of capitalized that, and then he's also used the social media platform of like, well, I know what people like, arguments. And he obviously wasn't a stupid guy, so I'd love to know what he really believes versus what he says online, because I'm sure those are probably two different things as well.
He probably getting home from work and be like,
whew. Yeah, because it is probably like a persona to a degree, and he knows that there's certain things like abortion, like gun control, that if he talks about, argues, and has his stance, and he'll know very cleverly to stay within a certain line. Because I challenge people to actually find a quote where he's outwardly saying something racist or homophobic. He's smart enough. What I mean. He's smart enough to stay in a line, but allude to certain kind of things, but just skirt it enough. But he gave a voice to like a group of people, and he's used a platform to grow this huge following, to the point of it's probably what got him killed in the end. That he's just kind of played this system of just arguments and fights, and everybody just at each other's throats. And he's gone, all right, well, I'm going to use that. And
cha-ching.
Yeah, but also like there is like the thing that like giving the voice to people who don't. Because at the end of the day, to have a political system, you have to have all sides and all opinions. And just because one side is very popular at the time doesn't mean the other side isn't entitled to his voice. Even if you don't agree with it, you have to at least listen to it. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. They're just like, I don't agree with you. Well, it's like, no, they're entitled to it as much as you. And as much as I don't agree with like Charlie Kirk's opinions, he's entitled to his opinions as much as I am or you are or anybody else. We're all allowed opinion. I'm on a little soapbox now, but we're all allowed our opinions, and to silence somebody for that, he's just going to do, I think, negative, because he's just. Well, I've already seen like people commenting to like, well, they couldn't be beaten in debate, so they killed him. So straight away, people just go, well, yeah, what he was saying must have been right because they had to silence him. They had to do this, and you just radicalise the fan base. Because if you really, like I say, all the things I don't agree with him, I would have happily stood in front of Charlie Kirk and had a debate and like,
yeah,
let's talk it out. Let's debate it.
Prove me wrong.
Let's debate it out. And the way that you, especially like his platform or any large platform like social media, if you could like. Imagine how big his execution was. If you had that, but somebody systematically beating him in a debate, of proving why the things he said were wrong.
I'd rather see that.
But on that scale, how many more?
Obviously, I'd rather see that, but you know what I mean. It's like,
how many more people would be positively educated from that experience than seeing him just fucking shot and murdered, and the people celebrate, half the people celebrating, half the people mourning, fighting, arguing. Rather than just educating through debate of like, because even his followers, if somebody beat him in a debate, would go, yeah, actually. And I'm sure there's loads of people who probably were born on like the left side and have watched this stuff and gone, actually, maybe I do agree with this aspect, but not this piece. And that's okay too. Mm-hmm. It's all okay to disagree, but it's not okay to disagree sometimes when people tell you it's not.
That shooter now becomes kind of like the, I guess, poster boy, the spokesperson, whatever, for the left, I guess.
Yeah.
He is seen as representing the views of everyone who doesn't or didn't agree with Charlie Kirk, and it's just like, it takes you back. It takes everything back.
It damages the left as well, because the people on the left are just like, we don't want.
I don't agree with what that guy did. Like, I don't agree with pretty much 99.9, if not 100% of what Charlie Kirk said, but I don't agree with the guy that did.
Where would you say you are on the spectrum of the left and right?
Probably central to left.
Yeah,
I would say.
But that's the same. I'd say the same. Where like I'm for benefits, I'm for immigration as long as it's controlled. I'm for pro-choice, and as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of left. But I want it all to be controlled in the centre. But then it's like you see this, and it's like this left, and then this right, and it's like, why can't we just be? Everyone's got their own opinion, and well, that's okay, but that's not okay. Why can't you just pick and choose between?
I always wonder that. Why can't we just make a political party?
Why does it have to
looks
be?
At, like say in the UK, Labour and Conservative looks at them both and just finds a balance. But it's always politics.
Why do you have to be left, or centre left, or centre right, or right? Why can't I just be like, well, actually, these are my opinions. I'm a bit of this, a bit of that.
But that's what people are, aren't they? But everyone wants you to pick the team, get our team. But then you get. But
that's the only reason that is to cause divisiveness, and it's just so self-destructive. It's unbelievable.
Because then you get splits within the teams. Then it's like, well, come to the left, but or like to the right, and it's like, but you're not left enough.
Yeah.
So actually,
it's like I said about the
actually, you're not left. You're left, but you're not left enough. So you're a fascist. It's like what?
It's like I said last time about the Vikings, where it's like the fan base of the Vikings, or the fan base, the following, the whatever. Where it's like you're not racist enough, or you're too racist, kind of thing. Where it's like there's a whole. Even in every subgroup, you can't just be like, I enjoy this, I'm going to be here. And then Facebook groups, you're in that group, and then which side of this Facebook group are you? It's and it's fucking exhausting.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing is like people. Just go back to what I said at the start of like, people are just dishonest when it comes to, because they just want to get someone, and I'm sure with this podcast we were like a bit on the fence about talking about it because we're worried, or you have that fear that it could be clipped in a certain way or edited in a certain way for like something you say where you could take something out of context, because that's important. And again, when I said that sometimes looking for the truth can get you in trouble, I feel like it gets me in trouble because I'm like, I'll ask the question of, well, what's... So the prime example is everyone's posted like the empathy quote that Charlie Kirk made about saying something about like he doesn't believe in empathy, he thinks it's a made up word, and like that's the quote you see that's just clipped. That he doesn't believe in empathy, it's a made up word. But there's actually more to that. and where he says that he doesn't believe in empathy, it's a made-up word. He thinks that sympathy would be a better word because the comparison between the word empathy and sympathy, I think, is sympathy where you are in somebody's position. It's one of the other, one means.
I think empathy is if you're sorry for the position you're in, and sympathy is.
I think sympathy is more like performative, and empathy is more actual understanding.
So sympathy, empathy is understanding where they're at. Sympathy is feeling sorry for where they're at.
So basically, that's what he said. That's
I think
the whole quote goes into that. But basically, he's not saying that he doesn't. I mean, all words are made up. To form. So when he's like, it's a made up word, all words are made up. But it's like they take that first bit and say, doesn't believe in empathy, like fuck him, like why should I empathise him dying? It's like, no, but there is more to it. Whether you agree with the whole quote when you see the whole quote is another thing as well. Maybe you don't. That's absolutely fine. But at least take the whole thing and say, okay, this is the whole thing. And I think that then devalues people's arguments, because then when you put that out and then somebody comes along and says, well, yeah, but what about the second part? That actually, he's saying that he's not saying he's not empathetic, he just prefers the word sympathy because that he thinks maybe that fits. Then you just devalue kind of people's arguments and then it gives people a crowbar to say, well, if you've done that with that quote, you might have done it with that quote, and you might have done it with that thing, and then it causes the house of cards to fall rather than just putting the facts as they actually are out. And then I think everything's nuanced as well, isn't it? Like, as much as like I'm very like still have an opinion as well because we don't live in America, but like I would say I think there should be some good like tighter gun regulations. There should be checks in place and whatever. It's easy for me to sit and say you should do this. I don't know what it would actually take to put.
That's another thing. We were speaking of you can't. There's no way you can fix the gun regulations.
Like, what would
no way.
Like, so it's hard to sit and say, but it's like that. The other like big quote was him saying how, and people just took it as, there's like, he's happy if there's a certain amount of deaths to like keep guns, and it's like, I don't agree with like the sentiment of that, but I think that it's so easy to take that quote and take it out of the context of or the intention behind of what he's saying. Or at least the way when I see that, how I see it is what he's saying. Because he's obviously pro-gun, I'm not. So I wouldn't agree with it anyway. But what I think he's trying to say is that, to put into like a different context, is that let's put into context like vehicles, that to have like cars or vehicles, unfortunately there's a certain amount of deaths that we accept for the freedom to have vehicles and the benefits that you get from having vehicles. I think that's what that line is trying to say, is that he believes in having guns, and unfortunately there are some deaths that will come along with that. Just like we like having cars, unfortunately there will be a certain amount of deaths. And I think that doesn't mean that I agree with what he's saying, but I think that you have to at least look at it and try and, rather than just going, oh, you're a dickhead for saying, at least try and like understand it. I think that's, again, sometimes I think this maybe gets me in trouble sometimes, is that I'll try and put my mind into the other side and at least understand why they're saying it, or understand where it comes from. And then I'll argue for a point that I don't even really agree with, just for the fact that I prefer things to, at least the truth to be there. Because I think that's a fair comment. If you really believe in guns, then you have to understand. And I think if you really believe in like having guns and the freedom to have guns, you have to at least understand and appreciate that there will be deaths from that. It'd be very naive not to.
What do you think about the whole thing of like they need guns in case the government rises up?
Well, that's just like from the writing of the Constitution, isn't it? But
that's the whole thing they bring up all the time.
That's how it like started.
Yeah, but that's how it's still going on. That's still like a whole thing.
But I'm saying that's how it was written in there, isn't it?
I mean, like the argument nowadays. I just think it's very in times of drones and. The
problem is though, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it, as well? But again, it's easy to sit and judge from here. It's like, see,
Englishman judging about American politics.
Yeah, but I'm against. I'd be against guns. I think there should be. Obviously there's a huge issue. The amount of school shootings. There is a big issue. If I lived in America, I'd have a gun.
Yeah, you know,
and like that sounds so like hypocritical to say.
I would.
It sounds so hypocritical to say, but it's true, isn't it? Because it's like
from a point of envy, they shouldn't have guns.
Yeah,
I can't have a gun.
But it's like you're in a position now where there's so many people that have them. I'm like, well, I want one too to keep me safe. So it's like you fall into that.
Yeah, no, I know.
So there's that many out, and the situation's got to that point. You're saying, well,
it's a totally different culture, isn't it?
yeah. So it's like, well, yeah, I would want one because I want to be safe from the other people that have them. So that's the other argument, isn't it? It's like, well, if you take all the guns, only the bad guys will have them.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
It sounds insane to us, doesn't it? Because we don't live in that kind of culture. But when and I think it might have been something that Charlie Kirk said around, one of the ways to deal with all the school shootings is to have armed guards at schools. And to us, that's like, my God, that's horrendous. But in that,
if you need armed guards at school, there's something wrong.
It's not such a stretch, I guess.
No, because there was a school shooting.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Is like the sad thing is there was a school shooting on the day that he died, wasn't it? There was
two people.
And that got obviously sadly overshadowed. But it happens so. Again, this way we've been desensitised to violence. It's been desensitised to like school shootings. It's just like even we have from over here. You hear it's just a thing, isn't it? You hear, oh, there's been another mass shooting in America. Whereas like when we first hear, it's like fucking hell, that's awful. Like Columbine when we were young. It's like fucking that's horrendous. But now it's just like another one.
Well,
it's so sad.
When was Dunblane?
I would say like 90s,
I think.
Right, 90s.
But obviously,
because that changed the law.
yeah. But I don't remember we're obviously too young to remember gun culture. I don't think gun culture. I don't think gun culture in Britain was ever like the
I
size
remember there being gun clubs. I remember going to a gun club.
Yeah, I remember gun clubs.
But you can still have you can have a shotgun, and you can have like a rifle if you're hunting. So you can have guns over here.
A license and people.
And it's all yeah.
They do check and things.
But you can't have like a pistol, can you? Like a handgun
or an AR.
96.
96.
Yeah.
But that was obviously they said, well, you're not having guns. We're taking them off you. But I don't know if
everyone gave them in though as well.
Yeah.
That was just like, ugh, this is fucking.
But that's
off.
probably because I guess if there was a time,
Not everyone, obviously.
if there was a time where you were gonna get like an amnesty like that, would probably have been like the first mass shooting in America that shocked shocked everybody. Because that's what like Dunblane, it was like it just shocked everyone. Where everyone was like, oh, okay, maybe we need to. But now it's so far gone that and people are just so polarised on it. And I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. Like, is the NRA, they make a ton. I'm sure, I haven't looked at the statistics and I'd love to see them. I bet gun sales spiked after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Yeah. Because people just, why would we have a gun if we were in America? Because it's fear. That fear mongering just makes people feel the need to have a gun.
So everyone's ran to the nearest Walmart to buy a gun.
Probably.
Which is bizarre.
Can you imagine going into the Asda
and seeing a rifle?
I know, but
I love that.
But it's like
on the way out.
You used to be able to buy tigers in Harrods.
Could you?
I'm sure you used to be able to sell
That's
tigers.
not a cultural reference that I can relate to.
I'm sure they used to have like a tiger. Because there's like there's people that bought those tigers and
I don't know.
released them into
in England.
The wild, didn't it? Yeah, we used to be able to like puppies and stuff in. I know it's a bit different to a tiger.
I was gonna say, I can believe the puppies.
In Harrods, I'm sure Harrods used to sell tigers. I could have made that up, so I don't.
I've never heard that. Again, I'm not posh enough to know about what Harrods sells.
No.
But buy a tiger. It's an existing search.
Well, maybe it could be.
Yes, you could have bought a tiger from Harrods in the past. They had a Pet Kingdom department with exotic animals until 2014, which is scary.
So there you go. So like, we can be like, well, can't buy a gun, but
I can get a fucking
tiger.
biological killing machine instead. I didn't know that.
I know it's.
How much was a tiger?
Oh fucking hell! Pass me the spark, please.
It doesn't say that.
Other beverages are available.
Other beverage.
I feel I've been on such a soapbox. I get so into.
But that's the whole point of this, is where we're saying that it's good to debate and good to talk.
Yeah, but I think
even BT, I mean, even Bob Hoskins, good to talk.
Dan's too young for that reference.
You must know Bob Hoskins. Fuck off.
I'm young, I'm a little kid.
You're lying. You know who Bob Hoskins is?
I've heard the name.
Fuck off, Dan. Anyway, you're going to throw me off on a whole Who Framed Roger Rabbit trail here.
Oh, was the gentleman who's the bad guy?
Are you messing?
Is it not?
That's Christopher Lloyd.
He's Lloyd.
The bad guy in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I see that now.
Bob Hoskins is the detective whose brother got killed.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
That's upset me more than anything else you've ranted about tonight.
Oh, it's not yet decent.
Imagine,
Yeah, well,
that's the one thing. That's the one thing. All the things we've spoken about today, and that's the one thing that people will get me on.
don't have this fucking fella in my house anymore. I can watch people getting shot, sucked into leads. But if you don't know who Bob Hoskins is, Dan, we are
So
done.
funny.
Unleashed with Jet Li and Bob Hoskins.
Anyway, what we
Sorry, you throw me. You throw me there. I can't remember what I was going to say now. Something about Bob Hoskins. No, the Bob Hoskins was the good to talk.
Yeah.
You talk about it's good to have debates. I think.
Yeah, so even like me saying about how you shouldn't have guns, I think they should take guns away. But then it made me laugh because when you said if I was there I'd have one, and I just thought, you know what, I fucking would have one. And that little thing that I've never really thought about that, like, what?
I'd be scared not to.
But that's it.
Yeah.
I've been that so kind of wired in my own thinking of like, I don't think you should have guns. But then you just saying that, like, well, I'd have one if I was there, and I was like, yeah, I probably would as well.
Yeah, it's
that little way of thinking on the fly. I'm like, yeah, I would, and there's no way of fixing that, because if I've got a gun, or if we both got guns and you take my gun away, well, I'll be like, well, he's still got a gun. What can he do? And that's the scary thing.
yeah, it is.
But
Could have knife crimes big over here. It's just like the other thing, like
well, that's the main argument where they say, well, they took guns away, so now knife crime spiked.
yeah.
But no one's throwing knives at
The
fucking
issue, yeah,
politicians from across the room.
The issue is the guns make it very easy
Yeah.
to maim and kill. It's not just.
It'd be a very different video if politician just got a knife thrown at them.
We have had politicians that have been shot, haven't we, in this country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was we had the. Oh, I feel really bad not remembering her name.
Is he?
Joe.
I've forgotten her name, last name.
This is
The Labour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that was like a huge news, wasn't it? And it was the Labour MP, wasn't it? She's called
Joe Cox.
Joe Cox, that's it.
2000.
But again, that was horrendous.
Mhm.
But I think, well, any political violence is
Yeah.
horrible. Yeah, but even then, though, you saw people celebrating her death, and I think that is such a detachment from humanity. Whether you agree with someone or not, to like laugh at them being shot or celebrate them being like murdered because you just don't agree. And yeah, the argument is, oh well, they were his like some people believe he was like an actual fascist, and he was like enabling like a younger generation to be like fascist, and he was actually causing like tons of hurt. It's like maybe I don't like it's. That's what some people like will say, and that's the argument they'll justify to like celebrate his death. And it's like, I personally, and I can only speak for me, no matter who it was, even if it was, well, again, like thinking out loud in real time, it's like I can sit and say here, this is how I think I would act. I don't know how I would actually act in the moment, which is again, it's like a human thing, isn't it? That you never really know what you're gonna do until you're in the moment. But the most hated person the person I've hated the most or has done like such evil, I don't think I would celebrate their death. Especially certainly like politically, the person I dislike the most I would never. I would be like, at worst, I'd be indifferent to it. I just wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, yeah, like I would never like celebrate another human's been killed. I think it's just abhorrent, and I think when you certainly like you have a group of people that's particularly like the left that are so kind of open and about being tolerant and accepting of everybody's opinions, and you can do what you want to do, be who you want to be. Everybody should accept that. Unless you don't agree politically, then it's a different thing. But if your whole thing is to be tolerant of others and to be accepting, to then laugh at somebody for being killed, the juxtaposition and the irony there is I don't understand how some people can't see it and they're just like, hang on a minute. Like, our whole thing is to be accepting and tolerant and understanding and caring and empathetic to the world. And it's like, just even when people are using his quote of empathy, they doesn't have any empathy against him, was why they shouldn't have empathy. It's like, not fucking strive to be better then. If that's his thing and you're criticising him for not having empathy, then have empathy and be the better person and be what you criticise him for. To sit there and be like, oh, he doesn't have empathy, so I'm not going to do it. It's like, it doesn't, for me anyway, and it doesn't make sense. It's like, you're just if you don't like him or you don't think, just don't say anything. But to like say he's a shitty person who deserves to die and celebrate, and then you're just becoming a shitty person. You're becoming the thing you criticise him for.
I think that you should never like laugh or celebrate someone who's died for an opinion. I think that's ridiculous, but I think there are exceptions to the rule of...
The one that went through my mind was like, would I celebrate if Hitler died? That's where I thought in my mind. It's like I can see it and be like, but then again, is it a celebration or is it just like, even if you think that Charlie Kirk is the fucking embodiment of Hitler, which some people are, it's like, is it a celebration or is it just like, when Hitler was killed, is it worth a celebration, or is it like it's still ultimate sadness from all the things that he's done? It's still just incredibly
not even going on the grand scheme of Hitler. I just think there's some people who, well, you deserve that.
What was the CEO guy that got shot?
Yeah, people were like...
I don't remember seeing anyone who was like, oh my god, this is absolutely horrendous and tragic and nobody should be celebrating this. I just saw everybody seeing that as a massive joke. So what's different about him to a political figure? Is it because he's the representative of capitalism, or...
I wouldn't laugh at that either. I wouldn't laugh at, like...
But it seemed to me that everybody was.
It was a kind of like a kind of...
And the guy who shot him became a bit of like...
Justice
yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah,
he became like a sex icon.
Yeah, it's weird.
But then again, I can't be a hypocrite and say that you can't make jokes about things. I'm a big advocate of like dark humour. And
I have a tattoo right here of the guy lad bullied me at school relentlessly, who then got killed. And I fucking revelled in it so much that I got a tattoo saying what goes around comes around.
Well, there you
so,
go.
That was born of trauma, maybe.
Yeah.
It was pure, and I laughed when it happened because he was horrendous to me. So I kind of can get. So when I say about opinions,
that's the other thing that maybe I've just never been in that position where I've been the victim of something like that. Like obviously Charlie Kirk isn't somebody who I ever felt threatened by. So maybe again.
But as far as like giving opinions and stuff, I'd say there's no way that like. What I'm saying is there are certain situations on it where you can be like, ha. But it's like
and
that probably makes me a horrible person. I've been told. But it's one of them where it's like,
but again, I think that's.
I'm a big believer in karma, but I don't think that was it with Charlie Kirk. I don't think that was a justification of karma, because I just think that was a harsh kind of reaction to what he's done, or how he tried to portray his message, kind of thing. But as far as like Hitler, to the other extent of my high school bully, of people who are just horrendous to people.
But you must have, through that experience, kind of wished he was dead multiple times.
Yeah, all the time. It was when I heard it happened, I was like, yeah. And it's probably a nasty thing for me to laugh at it, but at the same time, it's like, well.
Okay, he's probably. But again, like I can only sit here from like my own experiences, my own. So I can sit here and, I think I'm aware enough of like self-aware enough to be like, I can sit here and say that don't celebrate his death. But again, even the people who I saw that I was like friends with on Facebook that celebrated his death, I'm not gonna like unfriend them and be like, fuck you, I hate you. I'm like, I don't agree with that you did that thing, but I still think you're a net good person. And again, like I say, I'm self-aware enough to be like, actually, maybe if the things he was saying were against me, because obviously he did have very strong trans opinions. Maybe if I was like a trans man, maybe I would feel very differently than I do now. And I'm like aware enough to be like, sit here and like, and again in the moment be kind of like, well, actually, maybe I would. I don't think I would post something like public. But then again, I don't know. Cause I'm not so again, it's kind of like, oh, actually, and that's where the fun of having talks is, where you kind of like speaking out loud. You kind of go, actually, maybe my opinions might be different, or it's all just really complex and who knows what anyone would do with anything.
Or it is just a massive soup.
Yeah.
Where there's multiple ingredients and no one's ever going to get that same bit of soup because there's multiple ingredients in it.
And your opinions can change as well. Like, I don't think there's many things that I would respect more in someone where they're like, I thought this, learnt this, now I think this. I think that is the best thing a human can do, is just to learn from life, learn from experiences. I was a fucking idiot when I was like 21. The things that I thought and believed at 21, I would be ashamed to like go back and look at like young Dan now. And
Same, exactly.
I was like out and out. I would say atheist when it comes to like religion. I would be like, that's all there is. I thought I knew everything. I was like, absolutely, there's no religion. Like, it's all stupid. It's this and like I was just so like pig-headed with it. And then as you get older, I think as you have life experiences and as I guess death touches your life, you're kind of like, actually, maybe I don't know what I think anymore.
Yeah.
And
that's okay. That's okay.
Maybe I don't believe in Christianity. Maybe I don't believe in any of the set religions. But maybe I just think there's something I don't know. And so I think
again, that's the massive thing on like the debates. It's like when someone goes, "What's your opinion on abortion?" or "What's your opinion on anything?" It doesn't seem like it's okay to be like, I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's never that video. That video's like, get rid of that. There's never someone being like, I honestly don't know.
That's boring, isn't it?
Yeah. But that is the most common reply. It's like, I don't really know.
But everyone expects people to know and
don't have to tell me.
Have a choice.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, yeah. Maybe you just don't want to talk about it as well. Like, I don't really say. I'm obviously quite opinionated, but I don't really say my own political opinions. We'll talk a little bit like left and but I won't really often.
You'll know who you're voting for.
Yeah.
Why?
Or I won't. But I'll just keep like a lot of like everything with Charlie Kirk, and it probably sounds like I've just defended him like the whole time. It's like, but I actually don't really agree with. Well, I don't probably agree with 99% of anything that he said or what he stood for. I just think that you have to be nuanced and look at the whole situation and just appreciate it for what it is, and just kind of be respectful of other sides and other people and other opinions. But then it's so easy to kind of caption that up and go, actually supports him. It's like, no, I don't. I won't say my own opinions. Yeah, it's just like,
no, I was just kind of being like, yeah.
And I think that's when you seeking the truth and just wanting like to know the facts. People then just want to say, because I had it earlier. There was a gentleman that posted a quote. I was like, yeah, but what's the actual quote? What's everything? And then he's just like, oh well, you're just defending it. It's like, No, I'm not. I'm quite indifferent, but I just want to know.
Yeah, just give me the whole story. So
The whole context. But then you can make an informed decision. And I'm like, actually, yeah, it was shit. But
it's not the world we live in.
no, we don't. We live in a.
So, are you going to stay in these Viking groups or what?
It's more of a hobby, isn't it? That.
Go back to the beginning of how we got started on this.
It's a hobby. Well, what I was thinking before that is like, I bet if we released this podcast, but we were like screaming at each other because we completely disagreed, it'd get listened to.
Yeah.
By.
If we clip it to like me standing up.
Yeah, and it would just be seen by so many more people because it's that's what everyone just.
As opposed to two people just saying how fucked everything is.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what's pushed, isn't it? And I think there's, everyone wants to scream at the individuals, but I think that like the social media part, like, come on, get out.
No,
I thought you were going to yawn.
No, it wasn't. It was like kind of, it was like a kind of the ginger cake indigestion. Like,
no, I think like the social media platforms have like a lot to answer for. They build the algorithms. They know push hate and push people to divide. Or because of profits, they keeps people on the platform, keeps people commenting, keeps advertising money coming in. I think they have a lot to answer for, but no one ever kind of points the finger at them. That they've created this culture of just, I don't know, because obviously you had like that lady that was killed on the bus, and then you had, did you see that?
Yes.
So you had her, and then you had like the Charlie Kirk assassination, which again, whether you agree with him or not, like it just is a sad event to happen. And I remember like the day after, I was just like, it's not like grieving for necessarily those events. I was just like, I just felt sad. Like all day, I just felt like I could have cried.
I just didn't look at YouTube. Like we were sitting there, like normally I'd go on YouTube and look at what's recommended. And I was like, I don't want to look at anything because it's just going to recommend either fucking right-wing people screaming at the TV like, because that's what I click on all the time. Because I'm like, I want to watch this to be angry, or I was like, I don't want to look at any of this. So I ended up just, I don't know, what did we do? I think I just went on Helldivers, and I was like, I'm just going to play my Xbox for a bit. I don't want to watch anything.
Well, it's better because you told me I ruined the vibe because I didn't make your murder video, so.
Yeah, I just felt like the day after.
Ruining the vibe, love.
The day after, I felt just sad. I was just like defeated by like humanity, I guess, of just like all these people arguing and fighting. It's all, and I probably brought it on myself though by engaging in.
Yeah, because it's what you constantly do.
Yeah.
That again, not to keep circulating back to that Viking group, but the only reason that me and
representative of society.
Beth, why are you in that Viking group?
I only joined that group so I could look at all the people that were slagging you off, that Dan had alerted you to.
But why are you still in it?
Because every now and then I go back and check the comments, because...
No, you're still in it because you like to watch Dan kicking off.
Mostly, but this is something that, Is
the comments still going on that video?
I think it's quieting down now. But we could address some of those shortly if you want. We could go through.
I don't know how long we've been talking for. People have probably got like 2 hours into this Charlie Kirk rant and been like, Jesus Christ.
The podcast has become that. But it's a huge cultural event.
No, it is. You're right.
And I think as much as we sort of blame algorithms and social media, it's like with any market, it wouldn't exist if there wasn't something really dark about human nature that makes us absolutely thrive on this. If people had sort of from the start said, oh, this is a little bit, don't like this, it wouldn't have become a thing.
Well, also like the algorithm.
We are the monsters.
Yeah, the algorithm isn't inherently evil. Like it's set up to show people what you engage with. Yeah, it gives you what you want. So like, again, I can be
but
like,
I don't want to see AI boobs.
Well,
I
you
don't.
might think you don't, but the algorithm.
But if we all just engage with like nice, happy stuff, that's what it would feed us. Because all it wants is
my algorithm.
All it wants
is
is
just
to keep us on there.
It's so much of a polarizing thing between like I love me practical effects in horror movies. I'm fascinated by it. I have been since I was a young age. I don't know why, but my algorithm is old horror movies with practical effects and AI half-naked women with huge tits, and it's just like, what's going on? And the only reason I was clicking on them was to get away from them.
You're trying to exit, looking for the X in the corner. Why does X keep moving?
But it's like, you look at it and be like, that can't be real. And then it's like, oh fuck, it's got me.
You're in it now.
And then the next one, that can't be real. It's like, oh, I fell for this before. But I'll click on the practical effects things because I just love watching them, because like, that's amazing. And then all of a sudden there's some skinny Down syndrome Asian with huge tits that's AI, and I'm like, that can't be real.
Yeah.
But it gets me every time, and I'm like,
and then you send it to somebody. It's like send it to your
Yeah.
friends just out.
I am a simple human.
Yeah.
I am. I've told you this loads of times.
My algorithm is all, it's all perimenopause reels and...
Half-naked gardeners.
No, not that's yours.
I said you won half-naked.
No, mine's all perimenopause and like sad quotes, and I don't look at any of those things, but because I am a woman in my 40s, it's like,
It's working
I know what
out.
she's going to want to see.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, no.
Menopause isn't real anyway.
That
was a joke.
You're just undisciplined.
That was a joke.
No, I've noticed though, even in myself, like in the last, I'd say month. Cause I didn't know really who Charlie Kirk was a month ago. Because he had like the
I've
South.
seen him, but I wasn't.
There was like the South Park. That's when it kind of
Yeah,
came.
with Cartman drinking the water.
Yeah, people were saying that he was on like South Park. That's when I kind of like, and then I like fell into this rabbit hole of like being like, oh, I find like his debates actually quite interesting because I want to see somebody. Because that was the thing, I want to see somebody like beat him. I want, because I don't agree, especially like all the Christians about. Like, I don't agree with any of that. I want to see someone win. And then I started getting fed like the Whatever podcast. Have you seen that? Where it's the guy and like all the girls, and it's just like.
Is that the one where he just argues with OnlyFans girls?
Yeah.
And then Gronk, was it Gronk? Gorlock.
Yeah, that's the one where that. Yeah. And then I just started getting fed like every time I went on.
Gorlock, the huge trans woman.
I don't know.
You know,
I know. Yeah.
I don't know what a real name is.
They are, but I don't know. I don't know their story.
But there was one where. Have you never seen that where there's
You'll have seen Whatever podcast.
You must have seen it. He's like arguing with like OnlyFans women. It's a complete clickbait thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's so fucking, and the women know why they're there.
I think you two have fallen for the clickbait.
Yeah, no, I have massively.
No, but that's the thing. Like, it wasn't.
I do it every time, and I'm like, oh, these OnlyFans women are going to get that off. But they're there for that. Everyone knows what they're doing. There's no like.
There's no like hidden thing.
These women aren't leaving the building like, oh, we got that off there. They're leaving the building like.
Yeah, but I probably. This is probably why
But I'm like, haha, debate won.
This is probably why I took so much interest in the Charlie Kirk thing, because like I said, I didn't really know until like a month ago, and then the algorithm started feeding me like his debates, the whatever stuff, and all this kind of like, and I've not in the space of like a month, without a doubt, I've noticed like decline in like just my mental health of just been like. It's all just so like depressing and sad, and but I've also noticed. I bet if I looked at my phone and the time I spent on Facebook from like the last month to probably up until like Charlie Kirk got shot, I bet it's just gone. Because I found myself when I just had a minute of just like, which I would never normally do, just going on and like just scrolling through like the whatever or like these debates and just been like, just looking for like. Someone to win an argument. I was like, and I could just feel like the sadness creeping in and the effect. I was like, looking back now, it's like, why did I allow that to kind of to kind of grip, and you can feel it. You know it's happening, but you just can't help but look going. And just scroll. Like I'll still do it like.
You kind of like do this thing as well where you like kind of have to like shake your head and be like, ugh.
But I'll do
What
it.
am I doing here?
I'll do it, and I don't know if anyone else does it. I'll be like, right, 10 more. You can do 10 more scrolls, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I'll do that, and I'll like, oh, that's an ad, that doesn't count. Got another, so that's a freebie. And I'll do like 10 more, and then I'll like, that's it, put my phone down. But then 5 minutes later, when I get 3 seconds, like,
Yeah.
okay, 10 more, then I'll put it down. And it's just like, it just grips you. So like, these debates and like the thing that like he made is clearly addictive and speaks to people that others like Brits who have no real interest in like American politics, all seeking out to look at the debates because it's just fun.
And you're just like,
people
ha,
debate.
take that libtard.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a libtard is, but everyone's, it's the thing, it's the phrase. I don't know what a liberal is. I don't know the exact definition of it. I just know that that's what everyone says.
Yeah.
And then it's in my head where I'm like, I'm just watch libtard get wrecked or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ha ha. And then that's, and I don't even, I come away from it like, I don't know what I did there.
I know, you waste so much time. And it definitely affects you, like your mental health. I noticed.
Yeah,
like, I noticed it. I've just been like, Jesus Christ, like I'm spending a lot of time here and I just feel really sad. Because, again, it goes back to what I said earlier, like, do we have a responsibility to know about everything that goes on in the world? Like, because it's so different now, isn't it? Like, even when we were kids, you only saw what the news showed you before, like the internet.
Oh, what I found in the park.
Well, that was in the woods.
Why these pages?
All the pages stuck together.
Don't worry about it. let me lick my fingers.
But when it came to like world politics, you only really saw like what was on the news. Kids, you're not really seeing it, but even like your parents, you're only seeing what's on. You can only see a certain. Yeah, you can see a certain.
Is Newsround still going?
Yeah, my friend, one of my friends hosts it.
Oh, really?
Otis, yeah.
Otis.
Is it still going? Otis has been going for years.
No, not. I think it was like a.
Was this like Otis 2.0?
Maybe Otis 2. But even our parents, like they'd only see the news between like 6 o'clock news, 6 till 7. Like that's the news, and you see like whatever's going on in the world. Whereas like now it's just the news all the time and all the atrocities in the world being fed in, and you're having to see it. Is
that bottle?
Is it me moving the table?
Yeah.
Is it? But it's like all the atrocities. Everything's been fed all the time, 24 hours a day. You can see all the horrible things that are happening in the world. When really, if you just put your phone down,
you don't see it.
You're not seeing that. Like it's that thing. Like you have a responsibility to know what's happening in the world, but do you have a responsibility to yourself to like look after yourself as well? Because you can't take on the burdens of what's happening in Honduras.
It's not even that. It's even more local things. It's like, do you remember when I did the video of me doing the Nazi clean? Not Nazi clean. The zombie clean. The zombie clean.
Yeah.
And then the guy called me a Nazi. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then like it was like we were going to the Tokum Trail to do a walk.
Well, we were trying to have a lovely family day out.
So it's always when you're doing something nice.
The walk went to shit, but that's a different story. But
is that not related?
Well,
no,
but there was other levels to it.
Okay.
So it was like we went there, and then I posted this video of me doing the zombie clean. And then the guy was like,
So for anybody that listens, it's just a
clean, but you've got to shove your arm under the bar so it catches on your shoulder.
with a straight arm.
With a straight arm.
Which
it doesn't have to be, it's not like a proper, that's going to be clipped.
Clip.
But when you've got like fucking 80 kilograms and you've got to shove your arm under, you're not thinking about what you're doing with your arm, you're just trying to get your arm under it.
It's also not related to...
It's not related to, it was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
And then the guy says, cause the Viking community's got enough to worry about with Nazi politics or whatever. I can't remember, it was that long ago. And I was like, this is a zombie clean. And it was only when he said that I was like, it does look like I'm doing a salute, but I'm not. I'm catching the bar under my arm.
Yeah.
If you look at it, yeah.
That speaks more about the person that's looking though as well.
But and then I just said no. It's an actual lift, and then I screen recorded the Father Ted clip of. Hey, you're a racist now, Father, and I put that on my story with the screenshot of the message he sent me, and then we went for this walk, which ended up in a disaster, and
that was massive related though.
It was when on the Tolkien Trail they've got these kissing gates.
That you cannot.
You can't. A person can't get through there. A fucking massive mastiff like gunner. I had to. His whole body. I had to stand up on his hind legs
you
and
had to take
walk.
him off the lead?
No. I didn't take him off the lead, but he's got a slip lead.
Right.
So as I picked him up, I walked him through the kissing gate, and as I put him down, the slip lead came off his head, and there was a field full of sheep, and he just went poof, and fucking pelted for this. And he wasn't trying to kill them. He was trying to run with them because he was just wanted to be like, yeah.
Is that the innocence of you?
He didn't. Well, no, because he was running with them for a good 10 minutes.
Well, like, sheep can die from stress.
Yeah. Well, and the
stress.
farmers can obviously shoot them.
But that was the thing. It was in front of a fucking big farmhouse, and he's running with these sheep. And I was like, this farmer's going to come out and shoot this dog.
And the girls were like screaming.
And I was in my jeans, my boots, and I was chasing after Gunner, running around this field, screaming. And Gunner's just like stampeding with these sheep, like, this is fucking boss. And then eventually he kind of like tired out, and I was like, I am going to fucking murder this dog. And like, Gunner he ran. It was so funny. Not in hindsight. But I was like, come here now. And he was like, this fella's going to fucking hit me here. So he runs and hides behind Isabel. Or was it Abby? I can't remember. It was Isabel. And I was like, right, Isabel, don't run. Just walk, because I'm going to fucking grip this dog. As I walked up to him, I just went to kick him to be like, because I was so fucking terrified that he was going to get shot by this farmer. And as I went to kick him to be like, you dickhead, he moved. And I just slipped on the mud, back on the ground. And I was like, ugh, and like stood up, caked in mud, and goes like, oh, and my kids are crying. And I was like, just whatever, let's just walk. And then the whole time I just had Gunner on a tight lead. I was like, you fucking dickhead.
So when you love something so much,
and it's like,
and then it's that fear.
It was like, do you want to get shot? I had this whole thing the whole time I was chasing after him. I was like, this dog's going to, all of a sudden his head's just going to, because some farmer's just going to shoot him. And I was fucking terrified. But anyway, ended up gripping him, and we're walking out. And the Tolkien Trail is fucking miles long, and it was getting dark, wasn't it? And we didn't do the whole thing, did we?
No,
because we couldn't.
I think I just kept walking out of sheer trauma.
Yeah. Let's just keep going. This man's gonna explode. I was like, it's fine. I was like, it's fine. Let's just keep going. Caked in mud. And then as soon as we kind of got back to signal, my phone was like, with this whole barrage of assault and abuse against this guy who called me a Nazi, and people sticking for and this guy messaging me saying, can you please delete that video and delete the screenshots because people are sending me death threats. And I was like, holy shit. So I was like, and by that time I had enough. If that whole thing with Gunner hadn't happened, I'd be like, nah mate, deal with it. But I was just like, mate, whatever. So I deleted it. I was like, leave him alone, whatever. But I can't remember how we got onto that story. But it's the same.
To do with perception.
It's the whole quick to call someone a Nazi. It's the whole dealing with consequences. It's everything. But I can't remember how we got onto that story. But there's a point to it somewhere.
But yeah, no, actions do have consequences. But also, you can apologise for your actions, and it should be. Again, it depends on the actions, doesn't it? It should be you should be able to be like, oh, fuck, I was wrong about that.
Some people are looking for things to take offence to or disagree with, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I just think about often how much of a good kick I could have give Gunner if he didn't just duck at the right time. Because the kids were crying, but as soon as that happened to me and I landed on my back, you could see the kids were trying to laugh. but also terrified.
There's nothing worse than doing when you're just
And
fuming.
We've not been together very long, I don't think.
No.
Because I was like, I don't know these kids well enough to give them a hug, but they're like screaming, and I'm like, what's my role here? Is it kind of my fault because I wanted to do this walk?
And then I had to be that whole, listen kids, I'm sorry about, well, don't worry, the dog's alive, the farmer didn't shoot him, he was just playing with the sheep. I'm sorry, I may have flew off the handle a bit there, but I didn't want the dog to get killed.
It's scary.
Anyone's going to kill that dog, it's going to be
No one's killing that dog but me today. But yeah, hilarious. And then which leads us on to the next thing of like the whole. I think I can't remember, but were we getting onto that through the whole Viking group thing again? Back to Zakely to it.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember. People hating on you, people hating on me for being.
Oh. Well, you got. Well, I'm not getting hate, am I? What do I get hate for?
For being an English guy lecturing
Do you know,
Scandinavian
there was
people.
a lot of people agreeing with you on that Gleamer poster.
Yeah, there is. That does frustrate me when people are like, whatever topic, insert topic, and then they'll give you their thought and go, and I'm Norwegian, or and that coming from a Scandinavian. It's like that doesn't give you kind of precedent over anything else, because anybody, I think as well, anybody that's been to Scandinavia as quickly realises it's not all about Vikings. There's a lot more than just Vikings. Not everybody is obsessed with Vikings, and not everybody learns and in depth about Vikings. Yeah, it's probably taught in school to a certain level, but it's not all just. I think British history, like not everybody in England knows all about the Anglo-Saxons. And imagine like being like telling someone about the Anglo-Saxons, being like, because I'm English. So it doesn't give you just like this automatic. You're not automatically right. And I think some people think that does frustrate me, because there's a whole other argument you could make about. Well, actually, the strictest sense of the word Viking, of people going raiding, came to England and like made a big structure, like completely influenced English history. So I think we have as much right to talk on it, certainly like in the north of England, as anyone else, because it really did affect like the British history and like the English history. So I don't know if like I'm Norwegian kind of gives you the kind of like
the trait.
that's it, like ends full stop. It's like, yeah, but what you're saying is wrong. But you got hate for.
Mine was just for dancing with a hammer, because I'm a dumb South American who listens to Johnny Cash.
So somebody, somebody took one of your Mace Flow videos and posted into. Was it Vikings and Shield Maidens, which is the biggest cesspool of
It's worse than Facebook Marketplace.
It is.
With humanity.
That group is horrendous.
Well, they openly admit it.
Yeah.
I guess.
But you know what
it's
though?
somewhat
That video
self-aware, I
they
guess.
took, the hammer flow that I did during COVID, when everything was locked down, and I was just fucking like, I just need to lock myself in my gym and do just something to pass the time. And I posted that on my Valhalla page. And that's the most viewed thing on my Facebook Valhalla page.
Oh, okay.
And commented and hated. Cause
From before? Or
from before it. It's
okay.
like, I wish that video would, I'm not going to delete it, but like every time I go on
Why?
Facebook, it's because dancing with a hammer, that's all I get. And there's loads of like, it's
Which
all.
is not mace, is it? Yeah, I forgot. It's a sledgehammer, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, surely, I don't know, in a weird way, would you not be like, a hammer is more masculine than a
No,
I can't
it's not
advise
about
on
that.
what you
It's the
think.
amount of people. It proper took off in like the American kind of crowd audience,
Demographic.
where it's just all Americans, and it's the same thing with the Viking thing, where it's like I'm more Viking than you, but this is more like I'm more manly than you. Like I actually work on construction sites with a hammer.
Yeah, it's always like
I make a living with a
it's
hammer.
a flex, isn't it? It's always
That's
this
all it
weird
is.
thing.
If you find that video on my Facebook, and go through the comments, the amount of just deep south neckbeard males who were just like, and they're all like, I make a living with a hammer, try fucking working on a construction site. And it's
I
like,
used to get that when I did the chainsaw carving from.
Oh, bet, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
You're not the gatekeepers of chainsaws. Like anyone can buy them in a shop. It's like, you know.
But it's as if I'm just I've worked manual labour all my life. Fucking.
They don't care about.
They don't care about that. But I'm not going to justify that. And like the last time I went on it, and I was just lying there, I was like, I'll have a look at it because it like came up like comments, and there was this guy who said he was calling me a fucking fanny or whatever, and he was like going on about how you swing in this, how you fucking do this, I make a living from it. He said a lot more, and I was like, fucking cunt. So I was like, I'm typing this thing, and then I seen the message, and it was like 5 years ago, and I was like, I was like, I'm getting so angry from a message in a bottle, and it's just
so
like,
hard not to. But it's so hard not to, isn't it? When it comes to like anything Viking related, the ultimate insult is to call someone American.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily why. I think it's one of them, isn't it? Because it's like anybody who knows history also knows that like you have like America was founded by Europeans who then would have some tie back to the Viking Age. The Viking Age is a really cool period in history. So it's no surprise that you have a country that is very new, has a somewhat dark history when it comes to like slavery and its founding. So they're not really going to want to look back at that. So where can you look that has like a cool history? It makes sense that they would look towards the Viking Age. And I don't think there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. It just gets teased a lot, doesn't it? When people, you do get like Americans that make like wild claims, like but then it's not just Americans. People claiming like that their great grandfather is, great grandfather's like Ragnar. So you do get like you do get like those, but it's not like I don't think there's anything wrong with like Americans looking back at the European history. But it does seem like it's just an insult, isn't it? That throw like the amount of people that will try and discredit the things that I say or the arguments I make, they'll just be like, "Oh, from a Yank," and I'm like, "British." Yeah. And like same with like you, it's that insult of like, "Oh yeah, just a Yank," like trying to talk about Vikings. So it's like, well, yeah, but their ancestors probably are just as much kind of it just branched off differently. It's not that it is discredited, but it's just this kind of thing, isn't it? It's like the ultimate dismissal is that.
Sorry, yeah, love. Right. No, sorry. But yeah, I just think that people, I don't know, what is the whole American thing with Vikings, and what's the whole hatred? Is it like?
I think it's just you do get like a group.
Because that Viking shield maiden page, even though it's made by a Scottish castle, the majority of people in it are American.
And I think there are so many Americans who are interested in the Viking Age and play like even our customer base. They play like a huge part in like the interest in the Viking Age. Yet people want to discredit it, like it's silly for them to do it, or it's wrong for them to do it, and it's kind of less than because they're not still European, even though the roots will have come from Europe.
Trying to tell me that this guy called Ragnar Lothbrok in the group is
is not actually.
Oh my god!
No, that's
a
descendant. It's him.
I thought he was.
He's risen.
I think it comes from like a
coming out of the snake pit to correct us all.
I think it just comes from that you do get some who can be quite like, I don't know, because I think they probably just make up a big demographic, like a big section of that like demographic. So you will then also get some people who just very surface level and just take it to that kind of like silly cosplay thing. But I think that's been like attached to like that American like stereotype of the Americans who are interested in the Viking Age are all a bit silly cosplay surface level,
It's
horn
not
helmets,
even,
that kind
I mean,
of
the
thing.
cosplay people are bad, but I think the cosplay people kind of know what they are. It's the LARPers.
Yeah, like, but it's all just
But
fun.
again, it's fun, like you said. But I'd never come across someone LARPing as a Viking or whatever, or cosplaying as a Viking or whatever, and be like, you're a knobhead. It's like you're having fun. But when I come across a Facebook group of someone whose profile is LARPing or cosplay, I'm like, you're a knobhead. Do you know what I mean?
For me, I try. I don't care what people do. Like, do whatever you want to do.
I
Makes you
don't.
happy. I think.
But as soon as you comment on me and I see you're doing that, I'm like, right.
My main issue is like just when people try and like say things that aren't true, or like change the truth. Like, I don't care what people do. It's just if you then say, I'm doing this because this thing here, this historic, and it's like it's not right. That's when I'm like, oh, that does annoy me, because I think then when you allow that, you then water down the truth. Just saying, like a social media aspect, like there's so much like misinformation.
There's a guy who commented on the Hammer video of me saying, "Oh, way to fuck up your elbows and shoulders, buddy." And I have corrected so many fucking people on that now whenever someone says that, I just go,
yeah,
because
it's
frustrating.
Whereas it actually probably makes your shoulders stronger and your elbows stronger.
It's if you do it wrong, it'll fuck you up. Yeah, everything will. Doing a deadlift wrong will fuck you up. Doing anything wrong will fuck you up. But the amount of people who see me doing that will say, "Wait, this is really bad for your shoulders." It's like, it's fucking not.
No,
And
it will
I've had that many
reinforce
arguments
like,
with
the
people.
small muscles so well.
I've had that many arguments with people where they've eventually said, "Okay, yeah, sorry, I didn't realise that." But now every time someone says it, I'm like, just research it.
I'm
so washed by it. I'm just like, whatever.
You get beaten by it, and I feel I'm quite stubborn. But I get to the point of it with like the Vikings.
And it's always people who have no definition, who are just like,
yeah, sometimes
way to fuck up your shoulders, buddy. And it's like,
I know.
I can say anything I want, and you're still not gonna.
Like all the arguments I get into is just like, but really, have I made any difference to anyone? Because no one ever.
No, they don't.
It's very rarely. Like occasionally, somebody will be like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know that." For the most part, nobody ever says.
For the most part, you'll rant at
Actually,
them.
you're right. Or yeah, I went and listened to that. Actually, you're right. Or thanks for the information.
You'll rant at them, and they'll be like, huh.
Yeah.
And then get on with the life.
And it's just like, so why am I wasting? But then I can't help myself, and that's like that thing of that. I probably focus too much on like what's true, or wanting to know like the facts, and being like comfortable being like, actually we don't know. Or and same thing, you know, guess like I said, going right back to the start gets me in trouble, because it's like I can quite easily separate my personal opinions of feelings of political position and just like put that over there, and even like take a stance from the complete other side to what I believe, and just like question something, looking at it from that angle, just to try and learn or to understand. I can quite easily like move like that and just just separate myself from like my actual beliefs, just to be like, but why did they look at it from this angle? Try and understand and try and get to like the truth behind stuff. And I think that kind of sometimes get you in trouble, because you then appear to be supporting something that you don't actually support. You're just trying to like understand maybe why somebody thinks the way that they think, because I think that's how you kind of learn from positions. Like, yeah, I don't agree with this person, but what's led them to get to that position? What have they seen has made them think of that? Or what are they actually trying to say from the little quote that's been put out there? What's the little bit behind that? What's the meaning or the context and all these other things? I try to understand and look at that, and then sometimes people don't want to do that. They're just like, he said this, he's that, and it's like, but maybe I'm just too anal about stuff.
Did you do a degree, Dan?
No, I didn't go to university.
Considered.
Why are you talking about stuff like this?
I was saying.
I'm just.
That's not what I'm doing.
Sorry.
I was going to
Sorry.
Say, have you considered going back to do a degree or study? Because I think the way that you present an argument and the way you represent yourself is really eloquent and very academic.
I've probably learned that from talking. Because I don't think I used to be. I think I've, like, when I first started doing the podcast, I used to be so scared to say anything or to, like, mess up. But then I've had this conversation with so many scholars who know how to, like,
and that's the
cross the T's, dot the I's.
Which is why you should do it.
Absolutely immersed in these kind of conversations, and then when you're away from that, or if that's all you've ever known, you kind of take it for granted that not everyone has those conversations and is in that world. But I think it will be such a good thing for you.
Maybe, yeah. I'd like to, but
I think you should.
It's a nice little open university degree, really nice.
I'd like
also,
to
just
not.
think of the reply. You could be like, "I've got a PhD."
Yeah,
actually.
well, yeah.
Not bad.
I'd like to not, like. I hope, because I've noticed that even just learning what I know about the Viking Age and the way that I can present arguments and kind of, I've always been into debates though, like even from a young age before like the Viking stuff, I've always just enjoyed debates. And even like, going back to like saying I'll separate it from my own opinions, I could quite happily, especially if I live in America where they have debate clubs, I'd love to you could give me a topic and a position and it could be nothing, I could not believe in that, it could be a complete opposite to like my own opinions. You could be like, this is the position you're going to argue on this topic, and I'd love it. I'd find a way to be like, how am I going to mould this, how am I going to like look at this and figure it out, even though I don't think it, but I enjoy that kind of like puzzle. It's almost like a puzzle and a game of like trying to like figure out how to outwit the other person and kind of like present an argument that they can't then rebut. And I've always done that from a young age. I've been opinionated, I guess, from like a young age. So I probably like moulded that and then got information from academics doing the podcast and then seen maybe how to kind of toe the line and hopefully not say anything too bad. I'm sure I feel like I've just been like a little soapbox. But
it's one of them, like Beth said, though, I honestly think you should like go in for some kind of PhD or something.
I am a bit of a lifelong learning sort of nerd. So.
I'd love to like looking at Beth's PhDs and everything. It's like I'd love it.
I think
then I could, when you get your PhD, I could speak to people, and if they try and correct me, I'd be like, well, my friend Dan, who has a PhD.
Dr. Dan, Dr. Lloyd.
My friend Dr. Dan Ferrand, who has a PhD in this subject, he actually told me this, so it is, and then they could just be like, never heard of him.
It's so funny. There's a guy.
Look at this website.
Yeah, never heard of him. Never heard of him. Watch Vikings on History Channel.
There's a guy.
Have you seen this Vikings Shield? Yeah.
There's a group on. There's like a channel on YouTube. I'm not going to name it. I probably couldn't remember the name if I wanted to. But it's got a good following, and the guy is another person who's like changed his name to some Viking sounding name, but also has written a book. Like again, I can't remember his name. It's like Doctor So and So, and it's on like Viking or like Nordic studies and like modern like Norse paganism. But what he doesn't tell you is that his degree is actually in marketing. So it's not technically wrong put in like doctor, but it's also like, but it's also quite misleading. I think.
That woman that used to do all the TV
poo doctor,
where she goes through everyone's poo and everyone's like she's highly qualified, and she had some kind of jarred qualification and it all came out, but she was fooling everyone that she was like a highly qualified.
Yeah, so it's not inaccurate to put doctor, but it's also like
it's misleading.
So it is if you're selling a book on a certain topic and you put doctor, it's like people automatically think, well, okay, you've got.
If we're on a plane and somebody needs a doctor in a medical emergency, just, I'm not putting my hands up.
No, you can't. Me.
Tell me about your mother. Dying.
No, it's good. I wish more people would just have open conversations. I mean, I've learned, even if you take away like the information that I've learned from the podcast, just the ability to hold a conversation, to speak to someone, speak like somewhat eloquently for a length of time, like it's a skill that we've lost because so many, like, again, you get stuck in your phone or you don't speak. Again, anybody that listens to this, when was the last time you sat like we have, like us three here, and just had a conversation we've not looked at his phone, just been 2.5 hours, and that's it. You've listened to each other, you respected everyone's opinion, you've
said some things that are probably wrong.
Yeah, there's stuff that people will be able to check. I'm sure I've said loads of stuff that people will be able to check and wrong, and if I have, then sorry, I guess.
The thing is, we're open to people coming at us with corrections, opinions, whatever.
Whoops.
You know.
If somebody corrects us, we'll be like, yeah, okay, fair enough, which is absolutely fine. But it's a skill that like we just don't, or a lot of people don't have anymore, and I think that.
And I just think if we're struggling as adults to have those kind of interactions, like I am terrified for future generations.
Especially like
as somebody that works with children as well, I can legitimately say it worries me.
Especially after like the COVID time, and like just
families don't sit down to have meals together anymore. Everything is so fragmented, so kids don't have conversations with other adults. It's all one-way traffic of social media and YouTube and
well, again, and phones. Like we grew up in this kind of really weird middle hybrid time of like the internet coming about in our lifetime and going from what like kids today, if you told them what the internet was when we first got it, we had to like plug into the landline. You couldn't be on the phone at the same time. You had to like, if anyone had to make a call, you had to come off the internet. It'd take you 20 minutes, half an hour to download a photo. You know, and then it progressed to like being able to like download movies legally and songs and all this stuff. And what has progressed to today, where at least we had that disconnect where you didn't really have smartphones, you couldn't take it with you, you had it at home. But like now it's all encompassing in people's lives where it's just all day. Like if you're sat, the first thing you do is pick your phone, and even like us, we do it, but at least we kind of learn skills from before that. But the first thing we do is just sit and like scroll. If we were like waiting for a bus, what do? You don't just sit and look around the environment. You scroll on your phone. But you've got like the generations now that's all they've known, and I think that's going to be really interesting to kind of see how they develop into adults growing up in this world of like phones and internet's been there, and the kind of and also just like knowing, having access to more information than anybody has in the history of humankind, of like just being able to Google things and fix things.
And just saying how hard that is to kind of manage as an adult, and the fact that we can maybe recognise when we're feeling a bit overwhelmed with it, we can take a step back, but our kids don't have the skills to understand emotionally how all this bombardment of things that they're seeing is making them feel.
I was going to say, like, I was going to do the opposite kind of thing of like, I never really got a bus as a kid to look at the environment. I was always just in my bedroom watching season after season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh no. Is that with the tissues and the...
No, like, it wasn't any masturbatorial or anything like that. It was literally, like, everyone... It wasn't Spike, it was Xander. It was... it always makes me laugh how, like, I always have a go at my kids for, like, come on, get outside, it's sunny outside. Come on, and they're all too busy inside on their phones. And I'm like, you need to, like, take advantage of this weather. But when I was a kid, I was, like I said, binge, like summer holidays. I did the whole one to God knows how long of Buffy, because it was like, I didn't want to go outside. I hated it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think the opposite of that.
No, it was only when it was like every summer holiday is a memory of like one summer holiday I went through the whole of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The next summer holiday I went through the whole Ninja Gaiden on Xbox, listening to Disturbed albums.
I have a similar memory of.
It was just like, and then everyone's like, these kids today don't know what it's like to be outside, and I'm like, well, it was only till I got my absolute head kicked in when I was about 25 that I was like, I need to start fucking.
Really?
Yeah, it was like I was a fucking closeted.
You're such a, like, I would say, like, outwardly charismatic, chatty, likable person. I would have assume that you kind of had that
No,
those skills from like.
I used to. Don't get me wrong. There was times when I'd go out. Like we lived behind our house was a big back field with loads of woods, and I'd go out and do tree climbing every now and then, and have fun in the woods and whatever. It sounds weird, but it was only like I had my mates and but we were like a group of nerds. We'd like go out and have fun, but then we'd always end up fucking with one whole.
I'm going to say there has to be more to that sentence.
No.
That was a weird way to pause.
We'd have our fucking outdoor fucking adventure time. Go on, tell your friends, whatever. But then we'd like go to Blockbuster and queue up waiting for GoldenEye so that we could spend the whole summer playing GoldenEye.
It was a good game, that.
It was a boss game, but that's what I'm saying. Every summer, it was like one summer was just fucking Remote Mines, GoldenEye. It was. I can't judge kids for being addicted to technology because I was.
Yeah.
And then at some point I was like, there's more to this.
That's cute, but that kind of is a hope that maybe that's what.
Hopefully.
Just learn those. Because there is skills, like it is a skill talking to people.
It is
a skill. Like if I would dread.
And you know what probably the biggest skill is to talking to people that I've developed was Call of Duty days. The early Call of Duty days when you were forced.
I've only ever.
You know what I'm getting at?
I played Call of Duty twice, and it is.
When though?
When you ask me at the start of the show, what is worse? YouTube comments, Facebook comments,
Call of Duty.
the Call of Duty like chat and proxy chat, and that is the worst.
So
I've never experienced like open racism, homophobia,
yes,
and
it forges.
It is horrendous.
So do you know about Call of Duty in the early days when it first came out?
In what sense?
Well, so if you go on your computer now, on your Xbox or your PlayStation or whatever, and you have your party chats. So it's like you can join.
I should explain this.
What?
I'm going to go for a wee wash you there.
So you join your party chats. So you play with just your friends. You play in an open community, but you can talk to just your mates. You don't have to talk to everyone. When Call of Duty, what was it? Which one was it?
I don't know. I never played it.
So this is me. I'm gonna have to monologue now, whilst Dan goes through a wee. Call of Duty. I think it was probably 3 or 4. It was probably 4. It wouldn't let you talk to your mates. It'd be like if you're going to play this game, you're forced into the chat with everyone. So you couldn't have party chat, you'd have wide chat. So you'd go into the game and then everyone in that game, it must be like...
How many people would there be in a game?
I think there's like 20 per team. So you'd only talk to your team.
Yeah.
But your team, as soon as you open your mouth, would be the most horrendous people going.
I wouldn't last 5 minutes. I'd get really upset.
you did at first, but when you open your mouth and you realise that you're from Liverpool, and everyone's like, Scouse, twat, and then everyone starts ripping on you. But then you'd hear someone from Scotland, so everyone would be like, oh, yeah, fucking. And then it was literally so much racism and tribalism and everything. And I think once you kind of go through that with you, again...
Desensitised you?
No, not desensitised me, but I think it taught me how to take shit. Yeah. And be like, and then you'd like... I remember... it wasn't even take shit, but give shit. I remember once there was, and it's a dark period of time, there was a kid going off at me for being...
Like you're doing a child.
A child. And he was fucking going in on me. And then I found myself convincing him that he needs to go check on his parents because his parents have probably killed themselves because they're so fucking guilt-ridden that they've got such a disappointment of a child like him. And I was going off on him and I was fucking screaming at this kid. And this is what Call of Duty was in the day, in the group chats. And I remember coming off...
I still hear it. Like the proxy chat now, obviously it's a bit different.
But it used to force you into the chat, and now it's like you can stay in your party chat, and it's like, yeah, I'll stay in your party chat. Because I remember coming off from that chat like, whew.
So things that you would not dream of saying.
No, but like I was screaming at this kid because he was pushing all my buttons, and I was like, you fucking... But that is what Call of Duty was back in the day, and... I know you're looking at me like I'm some kind of...
Listen, I was too busy just sitting at home reading my Red Wall books in
Well,
my age of innocence.
what I'm saying is my evolution to who I am was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Ninja Gaiden, GoldenEye was probably before Buffy, and then Call of Duty kind of forced me into going into the outworld.
But you do, not
And then I got my head kicked in. I was like, oh, I need to actually physically fight people.
Did you take the actual what you said on Call of Duty out into the real world?
No, I didn't. I literally got jumped when I was out.
Okay.
I didn't got the shit beaten out of me. And I was like, I actually need to learn how to fight and look after myself here. And that was when my life kind of went more into the physical, looking after myself realm. But it takes a...
Respect.
Yeah, I'd be like, I can't just keep smack talking kids.
But things like, some people would judge you. Like
A lot of people would.
judge you strongly on that. But I think you need those moments in life that where you push things too far.
Yeah.
To know the limits of what you should and shouldn't do, and you go, actually, no, that's not what I would.
No.
I'm sure there's tons of moments where I
am not proud of myself.
Yeah.
Don't you to know what you actually want to be.
And I think thankfully for us, most of those moments have probably happened not recorded, not...
Yeah, well,
not,
yeah,
like
exactly.
thankfully that wasn't...
Thank fuck, that was before the days of let me screen record this, so...
Yeah, thankfully that wasn't recorded. And I'm sure I've had moments where I'm not... No, I've had tons of moments I'm not proud of or said things I'm not proud of, but it's not...
I believe Lloyd's wears fancy dress.
Well, that's...
Well, yeah. But they're not online, whereas...
I made a point to delete every one of them.
But now...
Because back then it was funny.
No, yeah, but now you have people growing up where their worst moments.
Winston from the Ghostbusters was legit though because I shaved my mustache and everything.
Did
Go
you?
on. Yeah.
But you have people growing up where their worst moments like that are recorded, they are captured, and you just can't. Like that's different. That's not something we really had to contest with. Where their learning moment is then put online and everybody sees it and everybody...
Yeah, it's exactly that, it's a learning moment.
But even like when we were fucking like... I don't know how far we go into stuff like... The MSN days of like talk... The big like... I remember I was speaking with someone the other day, like... The big girls that I'd speak to on MSN that I actually didn't... In school, that didn't speak to in school. It was this like weird thing of like it was because this was like probably before it was okay to talk to girls. Like that early age where you kind of where boys and girls don't quite mix. Yeah, you kind of get interested in the opposite sex, but they're not openly like talking to each other and kind of like it's still if you have a girlfriend, it's a bit silly and a bit. So there'd be like girls I wouldn't speak to in school, but I'd like talk to them on a night on MSN. I'm sure there's like loads of like when you're like finding sexual like talking in that kind of way like that I would never want put out into the world. And probably like the early days of like just sending nudes and that kind of stuff. Like I'm so glad that it's not today because I'm sure there'd be tons of like. You could send pictures or couldn't you? So I guess if you had like you could also have pictures. Oh, you had a webcam there as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, it was grainy.
Yeah, it was grainy.
Never gave it the full.
The disco on in the background.
Yeah, you could have like a webcam on. They have a webcam on, but like then when you're a little young adult or young.
I used to have to draw it and give it to a pigeon.
But like I knew
get a pigeon out the window too.
I never once thought about that being like, oh, they might be recording this, or like. So, whereas now, like you say, back in schools, there'll be so many kids who just are discovering their sexuality and going down that path of like being interested in boys, being interested in girls, and we all get tempted into like just sending things
it's all on
and
Snapchat and things, isn't it now? And then they
but it all
get
gets
recirculated.
Yeah, it gets screenshotted and sent, and like it's.
And the kids, they don't understand. They do daft things, but then that stays with them. And I've worked with kids that have had to move schools because just daft pictures or, not even that of that nature, just silly things, are just too embarrassing for them.
Kids are ruthless. Like,
I'm going for my toilet break now.
kids, like...
No sending Snapchats while you're in the toilet.
And I'm glad that I took this off, because if I'd have kept this on, and sure, not everyone wanted to hear that. But yeah, you have like, you know, generations of kids who've grown up with it now. That's we didn't have to contest with that. You could make mistakes, and you could, even the early days of the internet, you could send. Oh, I dread to think of the videos that could be out there. Not like doing anything wrong, but stuff I wouldn't want anyone to see when I was like young and just like trying to.
I think the worst thing we had to contend with was somebody said a mean thing about you, and there was a rumour and it spread around school, and then within 2 days it was somebody else.
Well, that
Conversation
and there was that, and I think that's like there was a break. Like, even like we said earlier with the news, it existed in like a moment. If you were bullied, even like Lloyd, say at school, you had that break when you went home.
Yeah.
It kind of stopped. It kind of stopped at the school gate, and you would have to go into it tomorrow, and it's horrendous, and you're scared to go in. But at least it wasn't 24/7 like it is now. Like, you have to
set up Instagram profiles to troll deliberately to bully other children, and it's just I don't know what the adults are and all
because
this,
it's fun.
you know?
Because it's fun, and that's it. It's like,
I think it's just nobody wants to be the kid that's being bullied, so they all, gang up on the bully.
Yeah, they all just call it.
It's always boils down to the same thing, doesn't it?
They just call it fun, and it's just like I don't know where we go with the world. I guess as we come to like a conclusion of like I don't know.
What's the answer?
Yeah, but it just seems to be getting. Everything just seems to be getting more heated, more. You just look at the UK in recent weeks with like the whole raise the colours things, and it's becoming divided again now. Like, if you fly the flag, are you automatically a racist, or do you just care about the country? And there's this whole kind of like division happening again of people just arguing and fighting, and it's becoming. It's just like you get out of one thing and there's another thing waiting for you, and
that's
just
the constant. It's like this is the us versus them, and then there's dies down, and then there's the next whoop.
Yeah.
And then there's the next whoop, and that seems to be like the.
If you're
constant exhausting.
If you're like conspiracy minded, you could be like, well,
it's the media.
It's orchestrated to keep
the
this
media
perpetual.
Distracting us.
But you can also look at it like if you think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember like before, like Brexit. I think, or like like Brexit, like the Remain leave. Maybe do something before that, but like that's the earliest time I remember of just like this divide.
Scotland.
Maybe the referendum on like that. But Brexit was the one that I remember where it's just been like since then, it's been pick a fucking side about everything. As soon as like Brexit was over and it was like. COVID vaccine or not, then it was like Trump. Even though when we're over here, it was like it was still a big part of like, do you support Trump? Do you not support Trump?
I think that was a massive catalyst.
Yeah, and then you had like Boris and like the split on that, and then now obviously you've got like immigration stuff, and there's been stuff in between. It's like everything. I think ever since I've noticed it since Brexit, it's just been like one thing, and then the next thing of like pick your team, and it's like. I don't want to. I actually have really
be on my own little island. Like,
I actually have really complex thoughts, and like maybe one day I think more this way than the other way because an event happened to me that kind of made me think a certain way, and that's also
no, you're right.
Okay,
you're exactly right.
But
there's been a massive cataclysmic. Is that the word? Cataclysmic event where I just thought, actually, none of this is important.
Yeah.
I'm going to go this way.
I was much happier.
Because there is like this way or this way.
Epiphany.
Yeah, but it's always like there's this way or this way. But it's like there's also this way. And it takes a massive, like you said, life-changing event to be like, I just go this way.
And and usually with anything, the right answer is in the middle somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's not the person screaming one thing, it's not the person screaming the other thing on the far end. The best answer is somewhere in the middle.
It's the grey area.
But it doesn't sell
No.
things, and that's what it all kind of comes down to, doesn't it? Selling the ads, selling this or that. So it's just kind of really you want to be. I think being in the middle is the best kind of. But even then, the people are sitting on the fence, pick a fucking team.
It's not about
I
sitting
don't
on
want
the
to.
fence.
I just want to.
It's about, like you said, you got the that way and that way, and then you got the grey area, and it's like it's not a defined path. It's just a.
And also, I think it's perfectly fine if you don't want to be interested in politics at all. Like, obviously, I take interest in stuff, and I'm again opinionated. But I think if some people they're not, are they, and they just don't care, they just get on with life. I think that's fine as well.
Way through life, aren't they, without worrying about.
I think it also. I think it shows a level of privilege, like in your life, if you can worry about like the politics of particularly other countries.
We have some influence or say over things.
Well, yeah, well, even just to have the time to do it, because if you're really like struggling and having to work 3 jobs, and you've got kids at home, and you've got to like support all the like, you're so obsessed with just your own survival. You don't have time to worry about what's happening in America. But for people to sit online and argue over like what Charlie Kirk said, you have to have enough like free time, or you're neglecting areas that you really need to be paying more attention to. It shows that you have a level of like time to be able to argue those things. Because if you really need to be at work, you would be at work, or you would be doing things that you needed to look after your family. And I think that kind of shows a place that humanity is in a way that we have a little bit more time to even fight and argue about stuff. Because you wouldn't always, would you? You can imagine, I don't know, even just like a couple of 100 years ago, people standing and spending hours arguing in the street over fucking nothing, over like a basic, very like basic disagreement. They wouldn't, because they had to be getting on with going back to work or going to, the shop to get things to feed the kid. Like, there would be more pressing matters. So to be able to have the freedom to argue all these different points is probably shows a level of privilege, I guess. On that.
On that
note.
What we'll do,
We'll have a light-hearted one next time.
Yeah, I know.
We'll talk movies or
heavy.
something.
I'm going to have to edit this right down to make it sound like you're not a complete right-wing activist.
I know last time you put the
how the turntables.
Last time when you put the podcast out, you mentioned what was it you put out on Instagram? You labelled me as
right wing.
Trying not to explain how he's not right, massively right wing. And then my sister messaged me and was like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Lloyd, please remove it. You're gonna have to remove that because I'm not."
Like, Dan's not right wing. Let me.
Things that make Lloyd laugh don't often make.
I know. No, but things it's like I knew it was a joke, so I had like obviously no problem with it. But then my sister messaged me and I'm like,
not a good look.
Lloyd, not everybody.
From the outside in, it doesn't look good.
Not everybody knows
but now
me.
this whole 3 hours has explained how maybe you are a bit right wing.
No, I think if you listen back to it, if anyone's going to call Dan,
closing statement.
Dan is a libtard. I think that's
libtard.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
I don't even know what that means. Maybe.
It's just one of those empty insults.
Well, I'm guessing it's liberal retard is where it comes from. So it'll be that you're.
I don't even know what liberal means though.
But it'll be
it's liberal, like
liberals
left-wing.
like left, like someone who's like more liberal in the views. So
and what's the other one?
So kind of loose and more willing to open to like change and open to like.
So
whereas conservative is more like keeping things as they are.
Again, it's one of them where it's like I'm not in a nasty way, but it's like I don't even care. It's like this is opinions.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think that's what
fine.
More people need to learn. It's okay to disagree on things, and it's okay to still be friends with people, and it's okay if some people have what you consider to be wild. Because that's not to get back on like a huge subject again. It's like even with going back to Charlie Kirk or just insert anybody with a mass following. It's like you can sit there and say you don't agree with their opinions, they're wrong. But there are millions of people who clearly do agree with them. And you might think that they're all wrong. But there are millions of people who agree and follow this person. So
So
for you to just be like disregard it, and like as if it's not shouldn't even exist, or his opinion doesn't matter. It's like, no, you have to at least
like
understand.
cross your arms and turn your back. No.
Yeah, even with Trump, like you can hate Trump, but millions and millions of people voted for him. So even for whatever your argument for the reason of that is, it's like you at least have to look at why. That at the very minimum, you have to like look at why did all these people vote for him?
Stop
it's
calling
not
them
like
idiots.
you don't become the president of America unless a certain amount of people vote for you. Whether you agree with it or not, it is irrelevant. You have to have a certain amount of following. So why did those people vote for this person that you think is a complete, whatever insult or whatever insult? Like, you have to look at that. And same with Charlie Kirk. He has so many followers that you have to at least go, I have to accept those opinions to a degree because they are getting a following. It's not like it's just he said something in the wind and nobody's listened. So there has to be something to it, whether he's right or wrong. Doesn't matter. He's touching people in a certain way that at least they're listening and they're galvanised and supporting. So it's valid. It doesn't matter if you agree. There is some validation there, and that's what people struggle with, don't they? This kind of thing. Now we can wrap it up. Now I'm done, I think.
So what's the answer?
They're in what? It's all fun.
Dan's right wing.
I don't know if there is one. I don't know. I don't think there is it. Like it's
just keep loving.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think that's it. You just try and put love into
That's it.
the world to counteract.
I think figuring out what's within your own locus of control, because it's so hard to manage, as you say, all the information and everyone's opinions and everything that's happening in the world, and there's some things that we can't really influence, but all you can do is make little changes in your own life, isn't it? Or be in control of how you live your own life.
Yes, be nice to people, even if you don't agree with them. Just be nice, and
Isn't
probably
what Jerry Springer said?
yeah, probably wise man.
We'll end it on that.
Jerry's final thoughts.
Jerry's final thoughts.
Just put your phone down as well. I think he's like part of it. Just take that separation of like the world's not
in this for this.
The world's not kind of. It doesn't have to always be there, does it? All the time. You can take that moment away and just kind of breathe and
just be nice.
Yeah, be nice. There we go.
I'm gonna have to edit this a lot.